All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Sanctums and Spies. This is our sixth session now, here in Asarius with our party. Before we get to our recap, though, a little bit of housekeeping to get out of the way. Music, filmmusic.io is a place where we use a lot of music from. They've got great music on there. Any of the songs that we use that are from filmmusic.io, you can find the information and the link down in the panels below. We are also using music from Welcome to Wildmount and Welcome to Taldore, official Critical Role products. There's a link to purchase each of those albums as well. Highly recommend. Great music all around. And then wanted to offer up, before the recap to the players, anybody want to give a lore drop in exchange for inspiration today? All right, everybody keeping their secrets. It's okay. I kind of like it. All right, so then to recap where we are today, we are on our fourth day now with the group after the day before having been quite busy. The first half of the day was spent meeting Zorth and retrieving Daisy from an abandoned watchtower where she had been abducted by a very large spider that had made its way into the edge of the city to take Daisy away. However, the group was successful, returned to Zorth, and received the reward of 2 baby moorbounders who are being kept well by Zorth until the group is ready to pick them up. And with that having been done, and the second half of the day, still open for things to do, the party decided to head to the river, where the fishing guild had requested they try and take out a couple of man-eater crocodiles that had been staking out one of the popular fishing spots, making it hard to fish there. After the group killed the crocodiles, and with a bit of time spent hauling them back to Asarius from the river, a little negotiation was had between Winnie Jawan and Baron Visco, an ogre butcher in the Scowl Square up in the North Roads area. And after the return to the river and the hauling up of the second crocodile, a deal was made, some gold exchanged hands, and some agreements made about what would be kept by who, with the party able to return for some meat after it being butchered. After that, the party had a little bit of time on their hands, so they returned to the Fishing Guild for the reward and met with them, a very grateful group who would be back fishing the next day, and then found their way to the Tough Tusk Tavern, where both Juwan and Acacia decided to get a little rowdy with some tavern brawling. And with Winnie keeping an eye and helping out, and the professor making a new orcish friend, turning around a tense situation, the party counted all the gold from the day and made their way up to the rooms purchased at the Tough Tusk Tavern for the night. More tents on upper story wooden platforms than anything, but nonetheless, the party all waking up the next morning on the fourth day here in Asarius. What would everybody like to be doing here this morning as you wake up to the smell of meats cooking down below?
Would Winnie have had the opportunity to learn her new spell?
It was a second level spell, right?
Yes.
I believe so, because you can, in a long rest, you can have 2 hours of downtime. I would say even then, you guys could stay the extra time. You know, it doesn't have to be, strict 8 hours that you were there. I'll say, yeah, Winnie can add that spell to the spell book.
She sleeps in and comes down to breakfast late.
Okay, got it.
Acacia's definitely going down for an early breakfast, bright and early. Kind of mentally preparing for dealing with snakes today. So,
as you walk down, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to mention, Juwan is definitely sleeping in this morning, resting off last night's fight.
Juwan typically seems like a heavy sleeper either way.
Yeah, it doesn't need an extra excuse, but it's there.
And just to describe, this was a kind of a second floor room setup, more tent-like than room. But after a night at the Tough Test Tavern, what would Udia be doing as well?
I'd be sleeping in. I don't do morning.
Okay, got it. So everybody but Acacia is sleeping in. So Acacia goes down early. And when you walk down the stairs, it's a different place than it was the night before. All the raucous, rowdy hijinks that were happening don't really seem to be here anymore. There is replaced, with the shouts and yells and the smells of stale alcohol. Kind of a meaty smell. You do catch like some kind of weird egg smell too. It seems mostly appetizing. It does seem like there's some kind of aromatic vegetables mixed in there. And then there are a few scattered patrons here around at some of the tables, as well as a couple that have already bellied up to the bar and seem to be tying one on pretty early. Little hair of the dog is what it looks like. But you're able to grab a bite, grab a drink if you'd like, and have a nice morning waiting for the rest of the party to wake up.
Yeah, she's just kind of minding her own, getting breakfast. Probably still a little sore from the night before,
Sure.
But not really like. She's not going out of her way to like talk to people, but like if people like acknowledge her, she's friendly,
Sure. I would say there is a little bit of interaction with the Knoll bartender. Looks to be a male Knoll, different than the one who was the bartender who was here the night before, and seems to have some decorative paint in the fur, kind of going down the shoulders. Almost kind of looks like it's their attempt at a tattoo. But ordering food, they explain that they have it's a crocodile meat scramble with some axe beak eggs. Mixed in with some various insect parts for spice, and then some of the tubers and root vegetables mixed in there they're cooked around the city. It's actually pretty good. It's surprisingly good, and it's given on the house since you were the victor the night before.
Crocodile tastes very similar to chicken for those who have not actually had it before. It's a very, very similar meat structure.
Mm-hmm. They have a nice chicken-like breakfast. And we'll say a couple hours pass as the rest of the party slowly wakes up after their long rests and sleeping in for the day.
So after a couple hours of people starting to kind of move around the Tough Tusk, and a little bit starts getting a little anxious and starts moving around the room and digs through Juwan's bag and eats an entire pocket that he had full of berries that he sort of designs as treats, and can't seem to find anything more, so a little bit proceeds to wake Juwan and sort of stirs. Oh, hey, all right. Go. I can get you a little something. We got berries in here. All right, I guess we'll be picking some more. All right. Let's head downstairs then. And Juwan starts to make his way downstairs and meet up with Acacia. Morning.
Good morning. Just not gonna lie, it's kind of interesting being up, I feel like I wake up too early for all of you. Everybody sleeps so late, but I mean, I guess it kind of gives me time to collect myself before the day.
I mean, honestly, unless somebody wakes me up, I'm bound to just keep rolling over and just going back to sleep. I don't know. I like to dream. It's enjoyable.
It's understandable. I mean, the sleeping all the time though is, and that's probably something you should address with a healer or something. Because I don't think that's a good idea.
I mean, we're addressing it. You're a healer, ain't you? I mean,
somebody probably a little bit more powerful than me. I'm
okay,
still
that's
learning.
Fair. That's fair. I mean, it's not really like a disease. Like, I can fight it. I can get up and do my day to day. It's just, I don't know. I like catching the sleep. Because it's more the dreams. I mean, hell, if I could find a way to do it while I was awake, I'd probably do that too.
I mean, maybe that's something when somebody can learn. I mean, with all the magic in the world, I'm sure that there's something that can allow you to dream while you're awake.
You know, my uncle had these little, like, mushrooms, but I don't know if I would necessarily say that was, like, dreaming necessarily, because I can, like, control my dreams, and yeah, it was weird. And he always said that they weren't for kids, and I was gone well before I was an adult, so
So wait, you tried use?
no. My uncle, he used them. I mean,
Oh,
I would have tried. I mean, there were a couple times that I tried to get some. I can't lie to you. I mean, we're talking about it now. There were a couple times that I tried to sneak some, but he caught me. So I just didn't end up actually trying them. But it was his shtick.
I mean, it's probably, you know, better to be safe in that instance.
Yeah, he was a pretty clever fellow when it came to the fungus.
As the two of you are talking, you see a goblin get up from their table not very far away, and the goblin has like yellowish eyes, kind of longer, slick back hair, wearing a bit of a longer coat. They seem to have like a little wand at their side. They walk over and kind of eye about the two of you. Sounds like the two of you might be looking for some substances.
No, not.
I mean, hold on a second. Before we shun the guy away, what? I mean,
Acacia begins coming like very visibly nervous.
I mean, we're looking for something that could like make me dream, but like I still need to be able to get shit done.
Have you heard of Sood before?
Nah.
Well, I got a little bit of the brown
Are
Sood here.
are we sleeping through a drug deal? Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I mean, I've never heard of it. I mean, what's it go for? I mean,
Well,
we get
it's
some
not
minutes
cheap.
last night.
It often gives, a very heady high and enhances the senses, and if you have any magical abilities. And if you're looking to dream, it'll definitely make you feel like you're dreaming. Feel powerful.
I mean, what's it cost? I mean, it can't hurt to try, right?
Yeah, care to try? I tell you what, just a little bit is 10 gold. 10 gold. And he pulls out like a little leather, it's like a little leather like square that's folded up with a little string around the top of it.
I mean, sure, 10 gold doesn't seem that bad.
Okay. And he
I mean, is
hands
this
it
like
over.
one? Is the sort of as he hands the gold over, he's like, so is this like a one time, like just do it? Is he sort of like opens up the bag and kind of
just
pieces it?
start
And,
small. It has a little different effect on everybody, so you might just want to start small there. But if you
Right.
need more, then you're You're welcome to come find me.
So is it like a powdery substance?
Yeah,
or-
exactly. So it's kind of like a brown granular glittering powder.
Okay.
Kind of has a texture similar to brown sugar.
Okay.
Kind of has a nice herbal smell to it.
Okay. So he sort of just kind of barely like licks his finger, just kind of like dips it in the bag and sort of like tastes it on his tongue a little bit.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Hey. Not only are you guys sleeping through a drug deal, but Juan is doing drugs. 8.
It's got fentanyl in it.
An 8?
An 8.
Oh man.
Start rolling a new character.
Nah.
Here's the thing, right? I prepared detect poison and disease for the snakes, and now I feel like I'm gonna need to use it to see if this shit is laced.
So, Acacia, you see across the table, Juwan takes a little bit, does a little taste, and his eyes roll back in his head and falls backwards out of the chair, unconscious.
I am immediately going to stand up
Okay.
and rush over to like where he is, and I don't want to do this, but I'm going to cast Lesser Restoration.
Okay, got it. You do so. And Jawan, you feel for a moment that time escapes you. All the dreams that you've had over the past year all seem to collect in at once. And as it touches your tongue, you see a flash of colors and feel a flash of every emotion and feeling you felt during every dream. As they all flash at once, it's too much for your brain to handle, and you go dark. But then you feel a calm, warming feeling, and you sense the presence of Acacia near you. And as if you were asleep for 2 days, you groggily wake up your eyes a few seconds later, feeling like you're not sure how much time has passed.
Oh. How long was I out? That shit's intense.
I mean, no more than a few seconds.
Oh, hell, that's amazing.
You should probably let me, check that stuff out before you try it again.
I mean, okay. I mean, it was kind of like a power nap in a couple of seconds. That is...
Oh no,
Brilliant.
You don't feel rested at all, by the way.
No.
You feel beat up.
Oh, I feel like I could take a nap. I mean...
The goblin is still over by the table. So, is that what you're looking for?
I mean, honestly, not really. I mean... I'm trying to, like, dream and get shit done. Like, this just makes me want to go back to bed.
Well, look, you gotta build up a little bit of tolerance to it first.
I mean, that's fair. That's true. Had to do
Give
with
it a
liquor.
shot. You might find that it makes some of your magic even stronger, last a little bit longer.
I mean, like, is there like a better method of doing it? He sort of like scoops some out, like, on his finger.
Juwan, let
Just
me
sort of is, like,
let
looking
me-
at it, like,
let me check it out first.
Hey, it's good stuff. I got good stuff.
yeah. I mean, you're welcome to it. He's still just kind of got some, like, in a shovel. Let's just say if you know, you know. Okay.
Mhm. It's not the first time I've ever had to do this. I'm gonna say, just give me a couple minutes, and I'm going to apologize profusely while I ritually cast detect poison and disease.
Okay.
Just to see if there is what is in this. Is it just straight, if it's just straight sued, or if there's
Right.
anything else added to it?
Okay, got it. And then I'll say the goblin, as you start that ritual, goblin says, well, if you both decide that you want any more, my name's Pardok, and you can always find me here in the tavern. Or another goblin who can come find me.
Pardok. Gotcha.
Nice to
I'm
meet
sure
you.
I'll be able to find you.
Good. Fancy flying.
As he walks away, I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark.
Oh,
On him?
interesting. Okay. Okay, got it.
And that'll last for an hour.
Okay. As you cast it, you can almost feel the soothe and that energy, that blast of energy that you felt start to try and connect with your magic, but it doesn't quite. It feels like the tiredness, the weariness of failing the save doesn't allow it to help, but you successfully cast Hunter's Mark. And we'll say in the middle of Acacia's ritual that Winnie and Udia, that if both of you were planning to come down, that would be a time where you come down and see Acacia in the middle of a ritual with Jawan looking a little funny on the other side of the table.
Oh, what happened? Were you attacked?
Oh, nah. I fell over, bumped my head,
Oh,
trying out some new substances.
what? What do you mean? Bad stew?
Did you wake me up for this?
I mean, you want to go back to sleep? And he sort of like holds his hand out.
Does Winnie recognize what that is?
I would say
What's
go
in
ahead.
the hand?
Yeah, go ahead and roll a medicine check or an Arcana check.
Yeah, because it's just sort of like a brown, powdery substance,
Right.
like in his fingernail.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she's heard of it. She's probably never actually seen it herself. But-
My question: Would Bria
Well,
be able to? Can she tell that that's not dirt under his fingernail?
It's some pretty bright colored dirt.
Right, I would say so,
Okay.
especially since he's kind of holding the hand out, like showing. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Closer to sand, maybe.
Okay. I'm good. I'm also like soaking wet, so I'm good.
so with a 12, does Winnie recognize Sood? She's probably never seen it.
Yeah, I would say probably not.
I'm sure her parents have cautioned her about it, but she wouldn't
Right.
know. What?
He might have just heard a little bit about it. You know, just the name suit, and that there are magic users who get hooked on it.
So what is that?
I think the guy called it sood.
Oh, I've heard a little bit about that. I don't know much about it, but I think it's addictive. I think you should be careful with that.
I mean, I usually try to be. That's what Acacia's checking it out for, you know, making sure it ain't got no bad juju on it, I guess.
I think it's also very expensive. How did you get it?
I mean, 10 gold I had left over from last night's bettings.
Oh. Winnie looks
Say that-
disappointed.
Okay. We'll say that Acacia's ritual goes off, and when you look down at it, Acacia, you do get a sense. You know, detect poison and disease allows you to identify the kind of poison or disease in each case, and you do get the ping that there's poison, but you can identify it as the suit itself. It kind of presents as a low-grade poison to you. You don't sense any other poisons or anything else in it. It seems pretty good, but you do kind of pick up that the suit itself gets that ping.
Well, it's
it's clean at least. I mean, I would probably advise, that if you want to try it again, to maybe not first thing in the morning.
I mean, that's fair.
Can I start setting up my morning situation on the table?
Yeah, absolutely. What's that look like?
Same as always. Salt, cup of tea, glass of water.
Okay.
My necklace.
Okay.
I'm completely I'm letting them hold an intervention for Jawan and whatever situation he's going on through right now. And just being like, I can't right now.
Got it.
And doing this.
Okay. Everybody sees Udia get out the morning pieces to kind of wake up and get the morning started. Jawan, you can add I guess a dime bag of sood with one dose taken out of it. We'll say that there are 19 more doses left.
Does that count the dose that's currently on his finger?
We'll say that the one on the finger is currently part of that 19.
Okay.
Rebag or take if you want.
Oh, do you guys want to see what I was up late working on?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
It's the scroll we all bought together.
Mm-hmm.
So while Uri is doing her setup, Winnie will also take 10 minutes and do a ritual. Somebody give me a test object. I've never actually done this before, so maybe it should be something you don't care about.
Keisha's gonna put a small hammer that she has on the table for her. I mean, yeah, we should probably try with this before we, try it with its intended target.
Yeah, I just learned it, but this is something you all contributed to. So she takes out her things and she, mutters a lot of strange words that even she doesn't quite understand, and flicks her wrist and tries to make it disappear.
And with the flick of the wrist, almost as if a bit of sleight of hand is happening, with an impossibly large object to be able to hide behind your hand, the hammer's gone.
Now you don't see it, and she does it again and says, "Now you do."
Wow, that's brilliant.
Pops back into the hand.
That's amazing.
No, I don't know if I've ever learned a spell from somebody else. Everything I've done to this point has been my own experimenting. I don't know that I've ever been able to interpret another wizard's notes before. This is exciting and exhausting. Sorry, I slept late. Did somebody say free breakfast?
Well,
It's still pretty early, and congrats, Winnie.
yeah, it's a
That was
big
really
deal.
cool.
I know I got my breakfast comped because of the fight last night, but I mean, we won plenty off of the fight last night to cover everyone's breakfast. Is not an issue.
I'll have the garbage plate then.
And it's not a very expensive breakfast. A silver piece per. You can mark off 3 silver pieces for breakfast for everybody if that's all anyone's getting.
Just tapping so much into this treasury that we have over here, guys. There's only so much here.
Well, if we need any more spells, those are a pretty penny.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, after we eat, while we eat even, do we want to get an idea of what we're dealing with this snake? I mean, I made sure that I got some spells ready specifically for this.
What snake?
Some a job that got brought up to us yesterday, in and amongst all the other ones that we got. There was one about a snake that had gotten loose that they wanted handled. Just more money involved gives us something that we can do, and while we just kind of sit around and kill time.
I mean, I need to make money, a lot of money. But by handle, do they just want it back, or?
No, it made it sound like it went rogue and they wanted it handled. And Acacia kind of gives you that look of like, I think they want us to kill it.
I mean, we can just talk to it and see what's going on.
I mean, yeah, I would much rather go the non-violent route if that's an option. I mean, even if we can just get it out of the city, out into the wild or something like that, where it doesn't bother the people in the city. Just let it know, hey, like, we'll get you out of here, but you can't come back because we have to tell them that we killed you.
Yeah, we should. I mean, we could just talk to it. I'm sure they're very understanding.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you spoke with Moorbounders before, so I'm sure you know how to speak with animals. So that would be, I think that's a good route to try. And
Sure, that has to work. What could possibly go wrong?
It's one thing that I've learned.
I roll garbage on a persuasion check. That's what can go wrong.
Well, maybe if we have a plan A and a plan B.
I definitely think plan A is trying to talk, and plan B is...
Sticky.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I mean, we can go if you guys are. Actually, I ritual cast it. My thing. We're going to go kill the snake. So, what is my results?
Oh, were you doing augury?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here. This one, let's see here. 30 minutes. And this is, so your specific action is going to try and talk to the snake? That's the plan of action
Yes.
you're doing for augury? Okay,
Mhm.
got it. Okay. So I would say that you take a look at the bones given to you or not given, but purchased from the weeping skeleton, and you see that these present woe.
We might have to kill that snake.
I'm guessing the bones didn't roll out in our favor.
No, it didn't. But it's the reason I do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's better that we know than try to talk to it and waste the spell, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready to go if you all are.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, by the time Juwan came down, I was already finished with breakfast, so...
Did they say what kind of snake it was?
They didn't say what type of snake specifically, just that it was a giant snake. It had killed a goblin a couple days prior, and there was two things offered. The goblins of that neighborhood had banded together and were able to scrape together 70 gold pieces. And then there was also a goblin in that neighborhood, the brother of the one who was killed, who offered to help the group, to kind of be a somebody who worked with the group. Rules wise, you'd be picking up a level 1 psychic.
Okay, but it was just one big snake, not a nest.
One big snake was what was reported. Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Well.
Do I have any guesstimation of what one big snake means? Like, would Urian know?
Yeah, go ahead and roll. A nature check on that one. I'll give you nature or history if you want to do history too.
Oh yes, natural 20.
Natural 20, nice. So you know of a couple different types of giant snakes, essentially. And so you start running through them. Well, what could it be? You know, here in Asarius, there's giant constrictor snakes. There's poisonous giant snakes, but that wouldn't be big enough to really haul off a goblin. They maybe like a small one, but if it was a full-grown goblin, probably not. The constrictor snakes could. They're definitely bigger. They often kill by constricting right there. But the other possibility would be a giant coral snake. And that is one that has a bit of poison as well that causes a madness effect. It's a bit more exotic, but you do know that there's lots of different types of snakes here.
Did they tell us how it ended up here, or was it just like there's a snake and they killed the goblin?
I believe that they had mentioned that it had gotten out from somewhere else and had escaped into this horizon back toward its neighborhood.
I mean, if we're being...
I wonder if we should go try to see if anybody's missing a pet.
I thought the bones said kill it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If we go in there and they said, oh yeah, the giant snake, and we think it's like, oh, it's a constrictor, but then we all go crazy because it wasn't, I would rather avoid that situation. So maybe knowing what it actually is would be helpful.
I mean, I can't imagine that there's a bunch of giant snakes just roaming around. But, I mean, clarity's also not a terrible route to go either.
I mean, it's just a suggestion, but we can just go straight and try to find it.
Well, it seems that if it's already killed somebody, it's unlikely to be domesticated.
I mean, people have all sorts of crazy stuff that, they keep as pets, especially rich people. They love to buy, a tiger cub, and then, a tiger cub kills a servant, and then the tiger cub has to die.
Well, I don't know. Does Winnie know anything about who might keep a snake as a pet around here?
You can roll a history check. See if there's anything that comes to mind. I would say first off that you know that there are people who keep snakes. But
dirty 20.
Dirty 20, nice. I would say that that's up here. In the Pits neighborhood, that Den Duendalos is known for raising snakes. They don't have like a particular storefront or anything, but they have a kind of like a livery and not so much a stable because it's reptiles, but they do have some very exotic and unique reptiles from across Wildmount and sometimes the Greater Exandria.
Okay, well, we can swing by Den Duendalis and see if they're missing a big snake. They would be the ones who would have had it around here. Even if they did, I don't know if they'd admit it. They might be in trouble for letting it loose and having it kill somebody, but I guess that's a different thought problem.
In the same process, they might pay us extra to get it back safely and to keep it under wraps that it killed anybody.
That's true. Well, let's check in with them and see.
Okay. So wrapping
Either way,
up,
we're gonna go kill a snake. So
wrapping up at the Tough Tusk Tavern, the four of you head out, and you're kind of on the border here between the pits and the creeks, so you're able to veer off and make it over to the pits neighborhood, to the familiar scent of the pits neighborhood now. All of you, even if you've been here, or even if you arrived here more recently now, have or rather, it has become a familiar scent. And it kind of changes depending on where you're at. Sometimes it's more fur and dust smell. Sometimes it's more animal dung. Sometimes there's an acrid, sour smell. But the pits here has its full array of scents and smells and sights and sounds of all the beasts as you travel through. And walking on the way, you get to wooden fence around what looks to be about an acre or so. Not planks, but you can see through it. But there are a few buildings, a few stone buildings. There's a place where it looks like you can walk in and a path into the center of this area. And the thing that strikes you right away, you do see some goblins working here, and a half-orc off to the side. But there are a few humans here as well. Just walking up to the main building area, you see probably 4 or 5. And as you approach, there is a human male, bald, not a huge build, wearing some kind of basic clothing, some really tough leather pants, and a thicker kind of thicker cloth shirt. Kind of wiping his hands as he comes out, and you see that he's got some ornate tattoos going down the neck that seem to be animal themed and probably reptile themed specifically. And he looks over to the group with a bit of a nod downwards and says, well, a different look for a group to come in here. What can Den Duendalos do to serve you?
on our way over, I would have ritually cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
Duendalos, any relation to the Empire? Or just a matter of chance?
Kind of tilts his head a bit. You're not from around here, are you?
No, not. I'm from quite a ways.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
9.
9. Well, a slight connection. We're not part of the Dwendalian Empire, but sometimes those who are part of the dynasty have found themselves there and wanted to return. We are those. But I'm sure you're not here for a history lesson.
No, we heard, we were given a mission of sorts to track down a loose giant snake. we heard word that some of you in the den here kept larger snakes as pets, and were curious if you guys had one that had gotten loose, because we obviously don't want to go out and just murder an animal that belongs to someone who would potentially be looking for its safe return.
Kind of has a little bit of a scrunched look on his face. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check for this one too.
13.
13, a little bit better.
Are there any animals around here?
So here at the main building, you don't see any directly around. You do see that there is like a standard with a snake on it that has like a D with the S being the snake. And you do see that there are some stone sheds, probably about 50 feet on each direction. I say sheds, they're small buildings, but you can kind of assume by the layout that there are some reptiles kept in there. There's nothing out and about currently, though. So with a 13, he says, we do keep large snakes. And let me actually do a roll here real quick. And if you see any, we might be interested in buying them off of you if it's a live one. We raise them here and often harvest some harder to find compounds. That's what a lot of our snake raising here is for antitoxins and medicinal compounds, some poisons.
So, are you saying that the snake that killed a goblin is not one of yours?
I'm saying, if you were to find a live giant snake, we'd be interested in paying you for that.
I'm getting the vibe that he's not telling the whole truth, because he's cleverly dodging the answer to the question.
I would say even the passive insight, you could see, he's being a little cagey.
So, here's the situation, Mr. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Actually, it doesn't matter. You can either tell us the truth, or I can just find it out on my own.
Go ahead and roll, I'll say intimidation or persuasion on that. If you do persuasion, it's going to be a bit higher DC than the last time, since this is a second attempt.
I mean, they're both garbage, so...
Guidance.
Oh, that's a 16.
16, okay. And which one were you going with?
Intimidation. They're both the same, so but intimidation.
Okay, good. Just for flavor's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we don't need any trouble, okay? Ooh. One of my employees had some poor tracking of the animals that we had. And we are missing a coral snake. It would be in our best interest to not have any attention back on that. And we'd be willing to pay quite generously to make sure that happens.
Does that mean you'll pay for the
All right.
dead one too? You said you'd pay for it alive, but if we can't accomplish that, will you pay for it dead?
I wouldn't pay for a dead snake, but I would pay for the group's discretion.
In the form of
All right.
paying for a dead snake.
If that's what is more comfortable for you to say, then yes, I will also pay for a dead snake's return.
All right. Well, we are going to go figure out what's going on with this snake that mysteriously appeared in the middle of Asarius with apparently no owner, and see what we can do about retrieving it and or killing it.
Fantastic. I appreciate the help. And he says it a little bit, I don't want to say meekly, but the intimidation set in.
Well, just a question, since you are familiar with snakes and all of that, any tips or tricks for dealing with this snake?
They have a very potent poison. Its effects start off by stunning you, and then there is a variety of results that can happen afterwards, with those who are bit often going mad.
So stay out of its way. Does it have any vulnerabilities or any? How would you recommend approaching it?
It doesn't. It is not very thick-skinned, so it wouldn't be terribly hard to hit it. But it's all about staying away from the teeth.
Okay.
Are they smart?
No, they're dumb. They're very dumb.
Perfect. We will have one live snake returned to you as soon as we can.
Just before we leave, Juwan turns around and says, we didn't actually discuss a price. And naturally, with having to move such a large creature, discretion, being of the utmost importance.
He cuts you off. 1,000 gold pieces alive, 250 dead.
If I'm a risk getting bit by your fucking snake, 500 dead. Because if it bites me, I'm getting paid, motherfucker.
Roll a persuasion check.
Guidance.
Alright. This is straight rolls, so I'm using physical dice. Grabbing my Call of the Netherdeep ones. Bring me luck, Matthew Mercer. Okay. That's a 16 plus 1, so 17.
17. $400 gold pieces. And the appreciation of Den Dwendalos. When you return, we can discuss a little bit more about our history if you'd like.
Yeah. We'll see what your den's worth.
Well, and I know the professor is busy studying right now, but I'm sure he would find that valuable as well.
Well, good luck. Stay safe. Stay sane.
Thanks.
You as well.
So on our way out, I turn to Acacia and I go, "See, we can always swindle rich people."
I'm not really fond of thinking about it that way.
Well, then let me help you redirect a little bit, just a touch. We didn't swindle anything. How much is a life worth? This snake killed somebody, right?
Sure.
How much is that goblin's life worth? That's what we're talking about here. That's what the discretion is. That's what they're paying for. We didn't swindle nothing. It'll learn them to take care of the snakes better.
Yeah, you have a point. So just, I don't know. Calling it swindling feels like we're doing something dishonest, and I don't think we're doing anything dishonest here. I think we're creating accountability.
There you go.
If that's
I
the way
like
you want
it.
to see it.
Isn't that all life really is just your perception of things? I mean, a hunter goes out in the woods and he's gonna see the squirrels and the rabbits and the birds. But like a lumberjack, he'll come out to them same woods and he'll see trees and he'll be able to tell you which trees are hard or soft. But then you'll have like a city planner come out and he'll be able to tell you all of his visions where things are. Life's really just a perception and what we put into our own noggins. I like accountability. Makes me feel better.
I don't like rich people, so I like swindling them.
Call it what you will. So, how's the trap of snake?
Winnie, that spell that you have, does it only work on, like, objects? Correct? So it's not like, you know, we could get the snake stunned and you could, you know, make it disappear.
Would I know the safest way to transport a snake?
I think my little spell has a 5 or a 10-pound weight limit.
Yeah, there's like a 5-pound limit on wrist pocket.
5 pounds. I can remember if it was
Yeah.
5 or 10 pounds.
Yeah,
It can't do anything heavy. I mean, if we can stun it, we can use the disc again and carry it, but we would have to.
Would I know how to transport a snake?
I mean, generally speaking, you know, there, especially with where you're from, that there are multiple methods. With one this big, you could kind of you could get a plank of wood and kind of lay it and kind of do back, you know, kind of line style switchback. That is a way to kind of get some extra space on there, or fill up the extra space on there. You could kind of do a situation where it's just held between two people with the tail over one shoulder, the head over another shoulder, and then whoever can hold them in between, just kind of like a line of people carrying them. So long as it's you know, knocked out or dead, that's totally doable. You know, wagon too. You know, a giant snake.
If we're trying to find discretion, I mean, I've seen them before, through my mentor, but they're bags that can hold a near unreasonable amount of things. And if we're we don't want to carry the snake in over our shoulders right up to the, you know, the doorstep of the den. I mean, maybe we can see about trying to see if one of these, the you know, magic shops in town has one, and if, you know, maybe if we can't afford to buy it, maybe rent it, you know, pay them a little bit.
If I remember correctly, those bags also have limited living windows.
And I'll just tell you guys, breathing creatures inside the bag can survive up to a number of minutes equal to 10 divided by the number of creatures. So essentially 10 minutes. After which they begin to suffocate.
So, I mean, I've seen it used before for that. So, you know, about 10 minutes, and you just kind of open the bag, pop its head out for a second, give it, you know, a reset, and then back in the bag. If it takes us longer than 10 minutes to get from point A to point B.
Well, I think we can drag the snake there, given that they harvest snakes, and we're just selling something that we just caught, just like the alligators. And I don't think that would destroy the discretion.
Yeah, especially if we stun it and it looks dead.
Right. I mean, that's why I wanted them to pay for a dead one too, because that's the cover.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I think our best method it would be that.
yeah.
I mean, I totally think we should buy one of those bags as soon as we can.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. And we haven't exactly stumbled onto, a dragon's hoard worth of gold yet, but I'm not saying that we're far off from it either.
Well, I think we should start making our way over to wherever the snake is so we can deal with this, and then the transport will become a problem when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, it was the turtle neighborhood. I don't remember what exactly it was called, but something the horizon back. That's what it was. Is the horizon back. So I guess that's a good place to start. And based on what he said, it sounds like we're looking for one of those giant coral snakes. So be a little bit more mindful.
Okay, so everybody heading over there then?
That's the plan.
Okay. So as the group moves through the Pits neighborhood back into the creeks, Winnie, you just get this more comfortable feeling once you get back into the creeks here in your home neighborhood. But it's easy enough for you to lead the group to this horizon back tortoise shell neighborhood. And as the group approaches, it's something that has been somewhat visible in different areas of the creek simply because it's on this domed turtle shell, but you don't actually see the turtle until you get up close to it. It's usually being blocked by other buildings and tents and things that are in the way. You can just see the structures up above. But getting up close to it here is just an odd sight. You don't see any scaly skin or any of the actual turtle itself. And Winnie, you would know that it's been unknown for years if this actual tortoise is dead or alive. Not really sure. But you do see the holes where the legs would retract to and where the head would retract to. And those seem to have some cloth. As you approach, you can see that there's like a long cloth tarp that has been put over it to kind of block that big hole where the head would come out of. And you do see up near that area that there are a couple sets of stairs. They're stairs that take you up about one story and then turn to go about another half a story up. And you see this very just interesting amalgamation of types of buildings. There's all types of materials here. There's wood, all different types of reclaimed wood. All of the houses kind of look like they're on stilts. So this wood is on the bottom of these buildings, and sometimes it's wooden platforms with tents. You see more towards the back of this tortoise shell, you can see that there is a watchtower as well with a couple goblins that have they're not wearing any Aurora watch gear. They don't look official or anything, but they do have a couple of bows as well. And there are, I wouldn't call it streets necessarily, but there are little alleyways between the buildings that you can walk through. And you do see that there's even some animal pens as well. And that is what gets most of the prime spaces, animal pens on the back of this tortoise, with the actual dwellings for the goblins themselves more stacked up, definitely tall. Some of the buildings go 3 or 4 high, and it doesn't look like stories of the same building. It looks like, little huts or shacks or tents stacked up on top of each other to maximize the space on the top of this neighborhood. Winnie, you know that the goblins like to call the horizon-back tortoises Kinispaji, and that is oftentimes colloquially what this neighborhood is called, the Kinispaji spot or the Kinispaji block. But to others, the horizon back neighborhood for those who aren't necessarily here living. But as you move forward into some of the first buildings, you see the head of a goblin, reddish eyes, You see that they have one earring on one ear and then another earring on the other, but they don't match. One's just a loop. One has a little diamond kind of dangly bit hanging off of it. And he kind of pokes his head out, pokes it back behind the pillars, and then pokes out to the group. "You finally decided to come!" Pokes his head back in. And then you hear as something runs around the building that you're next to, and popping up behind you, you see a goblin. I'll drop some art here in the Discord for what the goblin looks like. But you see a small goblin, younger, wearing some robes that are probably too big. There's a very mischievous look in the eye, wearing a necklace with some claws on it, wearing some shoes that are surprisingly nice for a goblin, and has little bits of arcane energy hanging around the edges of the fingertips. But he says, "Here to kill the snake, or just for a visit?"
We're just here for a visit. For now.
And he gets a kind of a disappointed look on his face. "Snake took another goblin yesterday."
Well, I mean, we are sort of in the midst of tracking the snake, but we're not. We want to have a smart plan of attack going in, so.
What's your plan of attack?
We don't have one yet. That's why we want to see what it is we're actually dealing with first.
So you are here to kill the snake and avenge my brother.
Eventually, just not. Like, we're not currently walking towards fighting a snake. We're trying to find it first and then develop a plan of attack once we know what kind of snake we're actually dealing with.
Well, I've been tracking some of his favorite feeding spots, and I could probably point you in the right direction.
I mean, that would be appreciated.
But you have to kill it.
Of course. Of course, we just, like I said, we want to ensure that, we don't get our heads taken off and join your brother, as it were.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right. No. Fine. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
22.
22. Fine. The Buzzmonk is coming with.
You're welcome to. You're absolutely welcome to.
Fine. All right. Last place I saw it slithering in was around the goat pens. It was hiding around the hay, I think, over there. I think it might have been trying to lay some eggs in the water.
Acacia's gonna give Yuria a look of like, this kind of complicates this whole thing. I forgot about the help.
Should have gone without the help. Alas, we have help now.
I tried. This sort of like silent, like eyes conversation is going on of like.
Although hopefully, what I have planned for the snake might also take care of our friend in a non-lethal way. And hopefully not Winnie, because Winnie might also be a casualty of this, but hopefully not Winnie.
Okay. So as the group starts to follow Buzzmonk through the tightly packed alleyways here on this neighborhood, I'm going to take a quick 30-second bathroom break and come back and we'll get this going. Okay, so Buzzmonk leads you through, and it doesn't take terribly long. It is slow going because you do have to squeeze through and squeeze past these buildings. But Buzzmonk leads the group over to an area that looks like it's got some open space. So this is probably the most open space on the back of the tortoise here. But there is a pen that is fenced in with a kind of a very shoddily built wooden fence that doesn't seem too sturdy, but there is a built-up structure that it looks like that the goats can go into with a bunch of hay for food. You can see some dugout water pits, as well as like a small stone building as well that looks like it's probably for feed or supplies of some sort. There's a wagon here in the yard, and you do see, even just walking up, that two of the goats here are running back, and on the inside of this structure, it's kind of built out. It's got like 3 walls. It's not fully built all the way. One of the corners is open so that they can come in and out and get some shelter here. But that they're taking a step back about 5 feet, slamming their head into the wall, running, taking a step back, boom, running their head against the wall. See 3 goats in total. 2 of them are doing that.
I turn to the rest of the group and go, goats are incredibly intelligent animals with like a completely straight face.
I can see that.
I mean, he could just be slightly confused. It happens to the best of us.
I mean, didn't the member of Den Dwindellus that we talked to mention that the poison like causes like psychosis?
Like a madness, yeah.
Yep.
Noted. I'm gonna put that one in the mental sticky note.
Can I kind of go towards like the shed or towards the shed area?
Sure. The stone shed area.
Yeah, where I'm guesstimating the snake is, because he said like I'm guessing from the behavior of the ghost that it's somewhere within their pen or close by.
So I would say the stone, the way that the group is kind of here, and it's not hard to jump over the fence here. It's made for goats, so it's not super hard to get through for you. But as you come in, the shed is just off directly to the left, probably about 15 feet or so. The pen starts maybe 20, 30 feet off to the right, kind of coming in diagonally to this squared up area. And the stone shed has a very simple thatch roof on it. It's put together with some very kind of janky masonry and a lot of looks like collected stones out from outside the city, but it works. And there is a very it looks like a door that was reclaimed also. Like there was it was a nice door on something at some point, but after there was years of wear on it, it was thrown out and then grabbed for the shed. But it is kind of rectangular in shape with rounded edges. There's 3 barrels on the outside, on the other side from where you approached.
All right, and I'm gonna start looking for the snake.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
I'm definitely starting to assist in that.
Is this okay? So you can roll with advantage, or both of you can roll.
I should go ahead and take advantage.
Okay. $17.
17. Okay. So, and are you actually opening the door to the shed here to do so, or are you just checking on the outside of it? Just to clarify. Okay.
Yeah, and for safety reasons, I have first level animal friendship ready as soon as I see the snake.
Okay, got it. Okay. So you start to look around the outside first, and you don't see any snake there. You go back to the door, and you kind of push it open, ready to cast a spell. But you see equipment, a spare feeding trough or two, water trough, some hay stored in here as well. A sign of a giant snake, though. You go back out and look around, and with the 17, you do see that it looks like that there is very large kind of curved indents in the ground that look like where a snake would have been sleeping behind the shed, and that it has slithered and moved over towards the gate, or excuse me, the goat pen area.
On to the goat pen.
Okay. And you get closer here, and it's almost a little bit ominous, because every, maybe 10, 15 seconds, you hear boom of the goat pounding its head against the wall. Boom. But you go up, and one of the walls extending out is shorter than the other, kind of just open aired for the ghost to be able to get in here. And there is a very basic roof over this area. It looks like this is a place where they can get away from the rain or the sand if need be, if there's another sandstorm. Go ahead and roll a perception check here at this point. Or investigation, your choice. Perception or investigation.
I'll take perception. 16.
16. You're able to spot, and it's a little bit hard to see because of the golden color of the snake. But you do see coiled up in the corner a very large snake that is starting to move its head back and forth slowly.
Does Winnie see that as well?
Are you trying to go up
Animal
and
friendship.
That's why you're going to cast Animal Friendship. I would say with Udia looking around for the snake, that you would see that there's stuff going on. But if you want to walk up and join, you can do so. We'll do the Animal Friendship roll here. What is the save?
It's a Wisdom 13 save.
Wisdom 13. Okay.
Mm.
Got it.
Are they wise? We know they aren't intelligent. I don't know if they're wise. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Roll a natural 16 plus 0.
Oh.
So as the spell goes off, targeting the giant coral snake, you can see the magic start to try and take over. It shakes it off and...
Oh, hold on a minute.
Huh?
Hold on a minute. Oh, bother.
Oh, bother.
Winnie, oh, bothers the snake.
Oh, bother.
The snake
I
may
love this.
Now I see why you were trying to get up to see the snake. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's cocked. Natural 2. So Udia, what you would see is the snake kind of look over and start to get in a striking position to start to move towards you. But as it starts to very quickly, with that snake-like reflexes, jump out, you're not sure if that reach would have hit you or not. It rewinds, and you see the magic now go over the eyes, and instead of shaking it off, it takes effect. And you start to see almost like a tamed snake. It starts to move its head back and forth, or charmed snake, excuse me, like the cobra,
Yeah.
charm.
Winnie gives you
Alright.
an elbow in the side and a wink.
Thanks, Winnie. Okay, this shit lasts for 24 hours.
Okay, let's see. You mean it no harm. Yeah, it thinks you mean it no harm. Now, I will say though that extends to Udia specifically.
Yeah, so I'm kind of just like gonna kind of like keep an eye out on the snake and kind of get to Winnie and kind of try to convene like the group so we can discuss what to do.
Okay.
Can you have it follow you? Should we back off? I don't know how you're spell
No,
works.
it's just charm, so I can kind of tell it what to do, but it doesn't like necessarily have to do what I tell it what to do. So I'm just kind of like letting it do whatever it needs to do, just keeping an eye on it.
And stepping out from behind Acacia and Jawan while this is happening, you all see Buzzmon come out. Oh, great! Now we can kill it easy.
Stop!
What do you mean?
Stop.
Uh,
Stop! Why? It's not attacking.
Exactly, because it's defenseless right now.
Will your spell end if somebody attacks it? I don't know how your magic works.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have some that are like that too. Yeah, so we can't attack it.
Yeah. If one of your companions harms the target, the spell ends. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I see.
So-
So we're gonna lead it somewhere so we can kill it quickly rather than it fighting back.
Yeah, we're gonna lead it. We're gonna lead it to a place that can contain it properly.
Or I can kill it properly.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Roll. I say roll a deception check on that one.
Woohoo!
I'm nodding along with Winnie and providing the help action.
Yeah, that's fine. You guys were kind of both talking a little bit. Winnie can roll with advantage if.
Okay, yeah. Winnie's not a deceptive person. That's a 17 with the
Ooh.
advantage.
Hell yeah. That's better than mine would have been. So.
Oh, great! Wow, that means that there's no danger to us at all. That's fantastic.
Well, I don't know about that, but we need to get this to a place that can contain it properly, where nobody's going to get hurt. That's our main goal, and then we can decide from there what's going to happen to it. But let's get it contained.
Right.
Because if we try to kill it, we're going to get hurt ourselves, because that'll wake it back up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. You're all really smart.
Right. So, Uria, how do you get it to? Can you talk to it? How do you get it to follow us to the snake corral?
I can indeed talk to it.
Okay, get it to follow us.
However,
Tell it something. I don't know. There's lots of food. Get it to follow you.
I mean, we could also like. Is there like a box? Or how big is this snake?
Oh, it's quite large. I would say when it's curled up, it takes up about like 10 by 10 feet.
10 by 10?
When it's curled up into like a ball, yeah. When it's curled up, yeah. So like you can see the length of this thing is probably 30 feet head to tail.
That thing is massive. All right.
It's huge. Now that you have it tamed, this thing is massive. It is when it's coiled up and kind of looking, it's still taller than anybody in the group.
Can you ride it?
I wouldn't.
Dude, ride it.
And it
I'm not
is
gonna-
just
I'm not
the
gonna ride
one
it.
goblin there in the pen with the group. There's not any others that have gathered around. It seems like that people have been keeping clear of this specific area with the reports of it being here.
All right. So, could. All right. Okay. So hear me out. Can you cast disc under this thing?
I think so. I think I can. I can. If you give me 10 minutes, or if your thing only lasts an hour, I can do the disc
No,
immediately.
mine lasts 24 hours.
Oh, it lasts 24 hours. Yeah, so I can do it for free in 10 minutes. And it's a circular horizontal plane of force. So I don't know why. Oh, it has to be in an unoccupied space. So we would have to move it on top of it.
Okay.
But then it could hold up to 500 pounds.
500 pounds.
Why don't we just put a
36
bridle on it
feet.
and try to ride it?
I think riding the snake might be a bit of a spectacle that we're trying to avoid.
Oh yeah, good point. Would still be really cool.
100%.
You want the disc? Winnie will just start making a disc.
Okay. Let's see. Oh,
Yeah, I
now,
think the disc might be the safest way.
where is Winnie doing this? In the pen near it, or kind of outside the pen trying to lure it?
Well, she can
Um.
make the disc anywhere within 30 feet. So I guess, where do you want me to put the disc? And she'll kind of step back to do it. Where do you want the disc?
I think kind of. I mean, I would say like next to it, kind of, so we can just have it like slither over a little bit and get on it.
Okay, I'll place the disc next to it.
Okay. Got it. So you're able to do so without actually getting in the line of sight to this snake.
While Winnie is ritually casting the disc, I'm gonna ritual cast Speak with Animals.
Okay, got it. Animal friendship is apparently not concentration, so you're fine to do that. Okay. Is Joanna and Acacia doing anything while the rituals are happening?
Jawan is curious and honestly fighting the urge on handling the other witness.
Okay.
But he's sort of reading the group to see if anybody else is sort of on the same idea.
He's like, well, maybe we can end him, say, on an errand day? That didn't really work.
What the fuck was that?
Well, let me see. Do I have a message?
Acacia is very just like cautiously waiting for this snake to just stop being cool.
Why don't we ask our new friend to go find a snake-sized bridle?
Well,
Because that'll take him a while.
Jawan sort of gets close to Winnie and sort of whispers, I believe discretion was advised.
Just
And right now we've already got extra eyes on us.
send him on an errand. Send him on a sniper. Tell him you're going to play hide and seek. Do something.
Until he mentions that 4 people left with a giant snake.
Well, just send him on some errand. You can't kill him. You cannot kill him.
I will not kill him. I will not. You have my word, Winnie. I will not lay one finger on our goblin friend.
I'm smarter than that. You will not cause
Or a little
his-
bit.
You will not do anything that leads to his death.
I can handle this. I'm going to step over to our friend,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to tell him, we appreciate your help in locating. I know that they had put out a bounty, the 75 gold. And here, and Acacia's going to hand him the statue that she got from the statue from Hupperduke that she got
Oh yeah.
very early on, and she's going to take it and say, if you take this and tell them that it's from us, that we want you to accept the bounty for the snake, we are going to take it outside to handle it, so that way there's not a spectacle inside the city, especially because snake blood can draw other snakes, and the last thing that we want is to put any of the other snakes that are being kept in the city domestically to go into a frenzy because they can tell that another snake has been killed.
Then roll a persuasion check on that.
I mean, is that what you want here? More snakes?
Now, of course I don't want more snakes. They're terrible. I hate them in the first place. Even more so now, the one killed my brother.
It's a 15.
15, okay.
And I'm going to ask Jawan for one of his daggers and take and sort of like chisel the symbol of the Everlight into the bottom of the statue, so that way there's like a marker that would be recognizable to Acacia. Because I'm sure there's not a whole lot of, priests of the Everlight rolling around in here. So,
and you can see that the Buzzmonk has a look on his face that you think that he's trying to size up what you're saying. And with that high of a roll against his roll, you can tell that he doesn't pick up on any kind of alternate plans or alternate intentions. But he does say, wait, you don't want the bounty? Why are you doing this?
To help. That's all we honestly do most of this for. The money is nice, but we want to help more than anything.
Winnie chokes in the middle of her ritual.
Just, we want to help. And honestly, if I'm being fair, made plenty of money last night at the Tough Tusk Tavern in the fight pits, so we're fine at the moment, and rather would see this money go to you. And I know obviously money can't replace your brother, but maybe some of it can go to helping get something to honor his memory.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. And you almost see like a sadness here because you can tell he's not trying to hide any of these emotions, that now that this feels over, that there's no vengeance that's driving him. There's no anger, there's no blame anymore. And especially with you talking about doing kind of a memory or memorial to his brother, you can see that it really sets in. And a very, very sad look on his face. Okay. And starts to walk away, but turns back. What about help? I don't really have anybody here anymore. And, well, if you all are helping, then I think I'd like to help too. I can't do much, but I can do some basic magic. And you see a quick flourish of the hands as a green mage hand extends out and reaches out just to hold the statue of the Everlight that you previously gave him. I can help too, at least a little bit.
I'll tell you what. You go and collect your bounty, and this evening you can meet us for dinner at the Tough Tusk Tavern.
Okay.
And we'll discuss everything there.
Okay. And yeah, that sounds good. And with a very sincere look now, with a kind of a forced smile. Thank you, friends.
How long has it been since your brother's passed?
Days. 3 days, I think.
It's
been a blur since then.
Has he already been put to rest?
He hasn't, no.
We'll do something for him tomorrow. And Keisha sort of puts her hand on his shoulder. We'll do something for him tomorrow.
Thank you. I didn't even ask your names. What's your name?
My name's Acacia. This is Jawan and Winnie and Yuria. We have another person who's been joining us, but he's currently got his head lost in a book,
maybe I'll have to ask for some recommendations for dinner tonight. Okay. All right, well, I guess I'll see you tonight then. Thanks again.
Indeed.
You see him jump over the fence and kind of walk away looking at the odd, this very kind of almost tchotchke-like statue from Upper Duke made of different, nuts and bolts and gears. A little bit of a confused look.
It's the only thing I had that
No,
wasn't
that's perfect. I
hyper
love
valuable.
I love the flavor. It's great. And so with that, we'll say that the floating disc and speak with animals that Winnie and Udia were getting ready are completed.
I'll go up to the snake and kind of, ask it if it's okay.
I'm getting hungry.
Did you escape?
Yes.
To look for food?
To escape.
Do you not like being kept?
It doesn't have much of a response here.
Mm-hmm.
It almost seems a little bit indifferent, almost like it doesn't understand the question. But it does say, like the dirt.
Okay. Give me a second. My dog has decided that right now is the moment she wants to be naughty. Naughty.
You gotta cast animal friendship in real life for that.
Yeah. It's called Greenies. Yeah.
We buy greenies by the bucket full at our house.
Yo, I buy those like big 64 pack boxes and they last me a month. So, okay. Would you... Okay, so I'll kind of just point towards... Because we're like in the outskirts of the city, right? Like we're almost out of Asterius.
Generally, yeah, you're in the Cretes. And so it's, the Cretes and the pits are the closest to the outer edge of the city. The North Roads kind of is more up on a hill a little bit. So it's close-ish to the edge of the city. You're not, right at the Vermalock fences or the Vermalock walls, I should say. But there is, there's pretty close.
Okay. So I'll kind of point towards like outside of the city and then go, free? And I'll point kind of in the general direction of where we came from, or home.
Just responds, food, dirt.
Okay.
Are you conferring with the group? Because we're not privy to the conversation, are we?
I am not conferring with the group just yet. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck this snake is thinking, and I think I know.
You get the sense that this snake is
just...
real dumb. Snakes are real dumb.
Yeah, snakes are real dumb. And I'll kind of, I'll go, is she shedding? Is the snake shedding?
Not currently, no.
Not currently, okay. So I'll kind of leave the snake and I'll turn to the group and go, all right, so here's the situation. The snake does not want to go back.
Doesn't? It doesn't just want food?
It wants food and dirt. So this if she escaped, it means that they're keeping her probably in a cage without dirt and food.
Well, I mean, if we could convince it that the food is back where it came from, and then we can tell them to give it some dirt.
That's true.
I will say that just from the looks of that Dendwendalos kind of reptile area where they were raising them, they did have those stone huts that were around that looked like they were for raising some of the reptiles.
Yeah, so probably just in like fish tank looking situations.
Well, I mean, do we really? If we can just convince it that it needs to go back to get food, do we really care about the after?
I mean, I was more thinking of I could ask it to give us like a fang or a piece of shed or something. We take it to the woods, far into the woods. I can take it into the woods, set it loose, and then we're back and we're like, this is all that's left of the steak. Give us our 400 gold pieces.
I don't think we're going to get paid for a piece of skin. We need to bring it back and bring it back alive. So we need to convince this thing that it needs to go home. Whatever you have to say to it to get it to do that, say it.
Hell, it doesn't even really have to stay there. It can leave
I don't care.
a couple days after we leave. I mean, our job was to get it back. We don't have to guard it and make sure it stays there.
Food is where it came from. Convince it of that.
Here, I gotcha. And Juwan uses his swarm ability to cast Speak with Animals. And he pulls one of the large spider legs that he had collected earlier, sort of like unfolds it, unaccordions it out of the backpack, and is like, "Here, buddy, I've got a little bit of food for you here, and a little bit when we get to where we're going. Come on."
Okay. Go ahead and roll an animal handling check. I'll give you advantage because you're speaking and offering it food. But I will say that as Jawan moves into its line of sight in the goat pen, it kind of gets back to that very kind of attacky, like looking ready to strike look on it.
It is a natural 20 for 25.
Oh, but it sees the leg, and you notice that it starts to follow the leg. And you kind of put the leg over here, and you go over this way, and it follows the leg. It says, food.
Here you go. Yep. Come on. This way for food.
Slowly uncurl now and start to slither towards Juwan.
We're about to have some really kind of fucked up parade.
I mean, we just keep it to back alleys, off the main streets. We'll be alright. Stick to the tall grass, buddy.
And as you say that, right as you finish, stick to the tall grass, buddy, it strikes out with a lightning fast speed, grabbing the spider leg out of your hands.
Why didn't you put it on the disc? That was the whole point. I thought you were going to put it on the disc.
If Joanne, if your intention was to lead it to the disc, that's it. We could have it be, you were.
Yeah, that's sort of, if that's what our intention was, to get it like there, because we don't really want to like.
It just ate the food, like.
It just grabbed it and then starts kind of like doing the.
Tell it there's more where that came from, and we tell it we can lead it to more food.
Yep. Already conveyed the message. It wants more, it comes with.
And it is kind of now on the disc, kind of awkwardly with some of it, probably like the back third of it hanging off. But it is more focused on now getting the spider leg down its jaws.
Are the goats dead yet?
No, the two goats that were ramming their heads in are still doing so. Actually, no, wait. You guys both did rituals. I would say probably about 8 minutes or so into the rituals, they both stopped doing it.
Okay.
All right, we're conducting the world's weirdest parade.
Okay. All right. So we just headed out here. I guess I have to ask how everybody is heading out and what the marching order is, what that looks like, who's
This
doing what,
isn't
and how
going
are
to
you
go
getting there?
sideways at all.
I'll stand next to the snake with the disc and look very upset. Like,
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Winnie is going to, I think she needs to be within a certain amount to maintain the disc. I think she has to stay within 10 feet of the disc.
Okay.
I think it follows 10 feet behind her.
Okay.
Yeah. 20 feet. 20 feet.
Okay. So you have to be 20 feet in front of that, so you're kind of leading the procession.
Winnie's leading the procession, and if she has a spare action, she's going to cast mirror image on herself because she's afraid she's going to look like the next me.
Got it. Okay.
Juwan is sort of falling up the back of the group, just kind of keeping any onlookers or people that may try to follow, just sort of shooing them away from the situation.
All right.
Can you tell it to play dead or something, and we'll take it to food? I don't know. Winnie's just leading the procession.
Play dead. Play dead, little slithery. Close your eyes. There you go.
You can kind of get the sense, just with the kind of look, it doesn't really. It picks up that you say that, but it doesn't seem to understand.
Not in its repertoire.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not quite willing to touch its face.
Okay.
And Winnie's just got her cloak up, her hood up. She's like, God, I hope nobody recognizes me.
Okay.
She's like, I don't know. Does she doesn't have disguise self or anything like that because she'd totally be doing that. But she's just got her cloak up, her hood up. Oh my God.
Okay. And what is the route that the group is taking here? Are you going main roads and just kind of going down the main streets here? Are you going to try and keep it a little more stealthy, kind of going through some of the alleys and behind buildings? What's the
Does Winnie know a reasonably stealthy route that isn't like terribly extra long?
I mean, as you walked into the neighborhood, you felt at home. I would say you would know a route to take that is a little less conspicuous. But
that would not take us longer because Maria told us we had an hour.
Right. No, 24 hours on it.
Oh, 24 hours. We have 24 hours.
I said like 24 hours, like 4 times, and I don't know if it's just like
sorry.
we have to do this fast.
So yeah, I did tell you I started
All
drinking
day.
wine beforehand. So, Winnie's gonna take the. Yeah, Winnie has nothing that's 24 hours. My most spell is an hour. So I'm jealous. Winnie's gonna take the stealthiest route if she can.
Okay. So as the party starts to move through, let's get a group stealth check just to represent how well that works.
Oops. Natural 1 for a 3.
Uh-oh.
12.
Okay. How about for Juwan?
Oh, that's not good either. 8.
8. Okay, got it. And do we have Keisha back yet, or still gone? If not, I can just bring up that character sheet and roll real quick.
It's not like it matters.
There you go.
I just sat back down.
Perfect. We're doing a group stealth check for trying to get quietly through the Crete's neighborhood back to the pits.
Oh,
It's
you guys
going
shouldn't have had me-
fantastic.
You guys shouldn't have had me do this. I should have been naked to do this for not having disadvantage. That's a 1.
That's a 1? Oh no.
We are
Take 2.
spectacle of ourselves. We might as well be playing music and prancing up and down the streets.
What was it? What was Acacia doing? So Winnie was in the front of this little procession. Udia on the side next to the snake. What about Acacia and Jawan? I don't know if we figured out what you were doing while the snake was doing.
Acacia
Yeah,
would
Jawan
probably
was
be
hanging
closer
towards
to
the back to sort of shoo away any.
Oh yes,
onlookers
that's
or
right. Sorry,
people.
that's
Yeah.
right. You did say that. Okay.
Yeah, and Acacia would probably be like just in front of Juwan,
Okay.
but
got it.
like close enough that like she could effortlessly like reach back and like grab him if needed. Yeah, sunlight on the gold and platinum armor probably makes for a bit of a spectacle.
And as the group leaves, easy enough to leave the Kinispaji block and get off the back of this horizon back tortoise, rather than use the stairs. The group decides to kind of go off the side and kind of slide down a little bit less visible way to get off of this neighborhood. Walking through the creeks here, Winnie starts to lead the group through what in the past has been in a set of alleyways that would lead towards the pits neighborhood, where you could try and find some roads that had less people on them. But in traveling through, it looks like that the arrangements of tents has recently changed. Don't know if it was people moving from the area of the recent earthquake or what, but the route to get there is stopped. And in trying to detour and go through the tents another direction, a group of two bugbears, unfamiliar to you, Winnie, see the group with the snake. You hear kind of a grumbling, "What the hell?" And they both kind of stand up and start to walk towards the group.
Hello.
What the hell you got going here?
This is our pet snake, Herbie.
Herbie?
Yeah.
Huh. Go ahead and roll a deception check on
Oh God, somebody help me.
that.
I'll tell the snake to kind of just like I'll pull out a piece of fish, because I have fish in my bag. I'll pull out one of the fish and kind of throw it up in the air to kind of make it look like a trick.
Okay.
So that they think that the snake is like domesticated or something.
Okay, roll an animal handling check on that to see how that goes. And if that goes well enough, then that will give Winnie advantage.
Oh, 21.
21, okay, you do so. You throw it up, and in a very almost scary display for the group to see what the snake can do while it is still very close to all of you, you throw it up in the air, and it just, like, going straight upwards, snatches it out and starts to, you see the shape of the fish start to be swallowed by the snake. Winnie, go ahead and roll with advantage.
And when he says, "Oh, and well, he's pretty well trained, but he's not as well trained as we would like. So we're going to take him in for some more training.
Okay.
Hopefully, that'll back him off a little bit. Deception.
Yes, deception with advantage.
Okay. 19 is my best one.
Ooh, very good.
Okay, thank God
Okay.
we managed. Okay.
So the bugbear looks to the other one, kind of with a confirming glance. Wait a second. You that group that's been helping out here down in the pits, or excuse me, down in the creeks?
I don't know if I should admit this. Yeah, we're the Professor and the Mary Anns.
Right.
What the fuck? When did we agree to this? I did not consign.
We didn't. We didn't really say that. Yeah, we're that group.
Oh, well, thanks for all you've been doing. I guess if you got a snake on your side, then all the better for us, right?
Yeah, well, he needs a little more work, so we can't count on him just yet.
Can I pet him?
No, I wouldn't recommend it. He doesn't know you.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for everything, I guess.
Oh,
Cool
you're
snake.
welcome. Yeah, we're gonna tie a little yellow bow on his leash. That means, for dogs, that means
Okay.
approach. Yeah.
Now, I'll say with those stealth checks and the changing of the route, there is a little bit of having to go closer to the main roads. Kind of that the avenue that moves from the creeks and the pits is the only way to get over to where you can feasibly get to Den Dwendalos. Does the group want to do that, or try and find a different means here at this point?
I mean, before we go out in the main streets, and Juan sort of digs into his bedroll and he sort of pulls out the blanket that he has with it. And I don't know if it's quite big enough, but he's going to sort of like walk over with it towards the snake and be like, "Hey, buddy, people are going to freaking out. Need you to hide under the blanket. Think of it like hiding under the dirt." And he just slowly tries to like lay the blanket over top of the snake.
Okay. And speak with animals still up? That lasts a while, right?
Yeah, an hour, I believe.
Oh, yeah, you're good. Okay, go ahead and we'll do persuasion with advantage on
It's only 10 minutes, so that would be up to you if this is in the 10-minute window.
I would say because you guys were going stealthily, probably not. If you wanted to do it again, you have to have another.
I will use a spell slot and do it.
I was gonna say because I would have just like kind of not happy about what's going on, but I wouldn't like prevent people from, I wouldn't prevent us from continuing to do our work. So I would just kind of like tell the snake to get under the covers.
Got it. Okay. All right, go ahead and do an animal handling then with advantage.
Alrighty. With advantage. Okay. Not as good as the last time, but 17.
17, okay. You see it kind of, as you say that, kind of tuck in a little bit and get that small coiled ball, almost as if it's looking to just rest and digest at this point with the spider leg and the fish. And you're able to get the blanket over it. And it's not perfect, but it doesn't at least, look like a fully live, golden, gleaming coral snake.
Yeah, a little bit will help, I guess.
Okay. And as the group moves out to the main road, you all start to walk through back into the familiar area of the Pits neighborhood. And with a little bit of camouflage and the deception that's already been had, you're able to make your way through without too many questioning glares. And those that do seem to have a confused or questioning look on their face don't really make anything of it or take any action because of it. You do get some stares. And once you get into the pits, however, when he's able to lead you off to the right to a little side area, there's a little bit more established alleyways back here in the pits.
I'll kind of like put my hood up and like lower my head and hold on to my holy symbol, kind of pretending like this is like a processional.
Oh, nice. Okay, got it. Okay. And with the more established alleys and roads here in the pits, a little bit more permanent structures, Winnie's recollection of the best, quickest, quietest route to get back to Den Dwendalos' area to raise these reptiles. The group makes it back to the familiar fences and stone buildings of the Den Dwendalos area here in the pits, with a quiet giant coral snake here on the floating disc. And as you begin to move into this property, you start to draw the attention of those who are in here. The humans and half-orc who are out here all start to very pointedly turn and look with... you do see at least two of them have jaws completely dropped as they recognize the golden scales as you bring it in here with the floating disc. And I think that's a good point to take a break. I'll take a 15-minute break here, and we will resume and see how this interaction with Den Dwendalos goes, and we can go from there. I just want to give props to all the players here. You guys just avoided a tough fight, a very tough fight that could have gone very poorly. So props to everyone.
Hell yeah.
That was a heist situation right there. That was great. Okay, so we'll take a 15 break here. We got 5:04, so let's get back at 5:19 Pacific, 8:19 Eastern, and we will finish up the second half of the session. See you in a bit. All right. Hello, hello.
We're here.
Hey, everybody back.
Hey, hey.
Hello.
No, yeah, sounds like. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so let me get some. Let's see here. Okay, so with a large golden giant coral snake, just to give you guys a little look-see here, what you would have had to have fought. The rather intimidating looking at first, now subdued. The giant coral snake still quiet under the blanket as you approach the these now walking out of the main house, which seems to be looks like it's probably 2 stories. It's odd here in this area. Its architecture looks a little more geometric and uniform than some of the other buildings and houses here built in Asarius. But either way, the look on his face is one of relief. And as he sees the group of you heading forward, and can kind of catch a glimpse at the parts of the snake that the blanket aren't covering, he starts to wave over some of the others here. You can see the half-orc and another human. This one a little bit older, very big build, long big beard. The half-orc, kind of similar looking almost. They practically look like they could be brothers, at least in their build. But at least 2 of them start to run over, and you can see that the main guy here moves forward and looks to the 4 of you. Well, that was quick.
We're efficient.
Indeed.
What is that? 1,000 gold, 2 hours. Most people work a whole year for that.
Expedited service is extra.
And just so we are clear, the 1,000 gold pieces is buying discretion, as well as the giant snake that has been returned to us.
I don't see a parade.
Mum's the word.
I do kind of see a parade. Did you raise any suspicion on the way here?
It looked like you were carrying a dead body.
Stayed off the main streets for the most parts. It was quiet.
Yeah, it's kind of a tense, uncomfortable look. Fine.
The only one that we even had the slightest bit was the dude that gave us the job, or at least that his brother died. He wanted to follow. We gave him something, told him we was gonna collect the bounty, go for it. We was killing it to go get the bounty. He's gone.
Well, if you were to show up here, if you were to tell him that's where this was brought, I'd be happy to say that it was exterminated. Not just him, anybody. We will tell them that we exterminated this snake for you, if you would like. Otherwise, nobody
knows
asks.
that we were bringing it here.
Oh.
Nobody knows that we were bringing it here. The only person that we told that we had a direction was the individual who we sent off to collect the bounty, and we told him we were taking it outside of the city.
All right.
Well, there might have been those couple of bugbears that we ran into.
Nah,
Yeah, but the bugbears thought this was our pet.
it's a pet snake.
Yeah, we told them we were bringing it for training, that it wasn't behaving well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
But
just
they
tell
think
them
it's
that,
ours.
No Aurora Watch.
No.
no Aurora watch.
All right. regardless of the blanket. He kind of reaches in and gives a very kind of like, you can see he's very intentional about the hand placement on the kind of brow ridge of the snake. Kind of gives an upward. It almost looks like a pet, but it almost seems to be kind of a calming move on the snake. And you can see over his eyes this kind of sheen pass for a second as he lifts his hand to cast a spell. And you hear him start to, kind of similar to how Udia and Jawan sounded when they were speaking with animals as well. And the snake starts to move off of the disc and slither down off towards one of the kind of farther back little stone huts. And the two who had started to move forward, one moves to each side of it. And they don't look aggressive or anything, but they definitely seem to be escorting it somewhere. Well, then Dwendalos is in your favor then.
At 1,000 gold worth.
Huh.
John sort of holds his hand out.
Exactly 1,000 gold worth as it happens. He grabs a coin purse on the back of his belt. Hands it over.
Appreciate that. Sort of turns back and hands it to Acacia. Well, doesn't quite turn. He just sort of puts his arm back behind his back. He doesn't take his eye off the individual.
Okay. As well then. Is there anything else that we can do for each other here?
I'll kind of go up to him and say, you better treat these animals right, or I'll come back and get them all.
And were you the snake charmer of the group?
Maybe.
We treat our animals with care. We make sure that their living arrangements are comfortable for them. You have to understand, reptiles are not very intelligent. They're easy to make comfortable. They're easy to keep fed. And we make sure to do both.
That thing was hungry. It left because it was hungry.
That thing is always hungry. Did you see it?
As animals are. Makes me think that whoever's caring for it doesn't know how to care for an animal.
Well then, perhaps we could exchange some words with some of our keepers. You can give them advice on what to feed our snake.
Mm-hmm.
He likes spider legs. As Juan pulls the other one out of the bag that he promised and gives him the other remaining spider leg that he has.
Okay, takes it. Right. Spider legs. I don't know that this would be the most nutritious thing for a snake of that species, but I can understand the need to feed it something. And it kind of gives like this little bit of like a judgy look of kind of like, hey, you know, you guys don't know all of the, you know, all there is to know about snake raising. I'm the expert here.
I mean, that's fair, but getting him to eat, right? Keeps him where he's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Is anybody actually okay? So I'm gonna use my elemental harmony to conjure up water, and then I'm gonna use shape water to kind of like encircle him in like droplets of water and just be like, we are guardians of nature. Don't tell me what I don't know. And I just take it away.
Winnie is backing up. He does
Point.
not want to make an enemy of any of the dens.
Points at
And she's
And I
just
just,
like, you did ixnay on the attitude phrase. Den, this is a den, a Kryn den.
I mean, I already pissed off the other dude, whose name I don't know.
Well, it's not, it might be a life-limiting maneuver.
He points at Udia and smiles at all four of you, and then back at Udia. I like this one. You use water, but you're full of fire. There was some discussion of the history of Den Dwendalos. Do you still care to hear? It is earned as well as the gold.
I'm a bit curious myself. Said you had some ties to the Empire.
Yeah, ties to the Empire. Tell me, I'm curious myself. Do any of you hail from the Dwendalian Empire?
Oh, no, hell no. I'm from the Lotus Den, down south.
I'm from far away.
From Vasselheim myself personally.
I'm from here.
None then. Are any of you familiar with the Dwendals themselves, the monarchs who rule the Dwendalian Empire?
Only what I've heard from my traveling from Vasselheim to here.
And you, Bugbear, have you explained to your friends from faraway lands what consecution is?
No. Does Winnie know? I guess she must.
I would say Winnie would know, yeah.
No, it's never come up. We don't like to, talk religion, uninvited.
Can be a divisive subject, of course. Some discoveries can be quite interesting. Looks back to the rest of the group. The dynasty is worshippers of the Luxon. And what matters for this conversation is that through the gifts from the Luxon, the dynasty is able to go through rituals individually that bind their souls to powerful artifacts. So that when they die, they can return to this life in a new body and live again. Our Umavi are members of the dynasty who have lived many lives, considered to be perfect souls. Their knowledge, their experience, granting them insight into the world. There are some restrictions in mostly location and how those souls are dispersed after death. One of my ancestors was one such soul. A member of the dynasty who had undergone consecution and was reborn into the royal family. When he regained his memories, he came home. It isn't a small feat to establish a den. But in the years since, Den Dwendalos has become one of the 12 noble dens, named as such, as a twisted bit of ridicule at the former life that they lived.
So its name's not something real fond of then.
I mean, Dwendalos and the dynasty holds the weight of the den now. The Dwendals, despite the truce with the Empire, are still looked on very poorly. By none more than Den Dwendalos.
I could understand how they would make things a little awkward at family gatherings. I mean, how close are the dens?
Some more than others, it depends. There's certainly not a separation or segregation of the dens. It is not just familial, though. The dens here in the dynasty are reserved for those who have undergone consecution. And when they do, they are accepted into one of the 12 dens. So although one might bear the name of a den, they might not be related by blood to members of that den.
Sounds complicated.
Yes.
Because
I suppose to an outsider it might.
Say it's like a family tree, but your trees just kind of sprout up all over the place.
More a network of mycelium under the ground than a tree growing up out of it.
I was thinking kind of like wildflowers, you know. Wind blows you whoo, down the way. Up pop some more daisies. I mean, you know.
I like the analogy.
Yeah, I don't know what the mitochondria. That sounds complicated too. That's a really big word.
Mushrooms, friend.
Oh, yeah, I know those.
Well, you have earned your knowledge of the dynasty today. You have earned your gold, and you have returned something very valuable, and frankly, eased my anxiety.
Well,
Thank you.
Glad we could hit 3 birds with 1 stone.
Yes.
Quickly.
I appreciate your discretion in this matter. If I have any other work that needs done, good, reliable workers, or rather, good, reliable help is hard to come by. Can I let you know if I have anything else that needs to be done?
We're sort of freelance, go with the flow. I mean, if you happen to find us, I imagine we'd be available, depending on job description, naturally.
Of course.
I have a question. What do you
Please.
know of the Umavi who are coming to visit?
A bit. Let me see here.
Seems to be quite a to-do being made. Quite the preparations.
Well, anytime the Sky Sibyl shows up to a place that has many goblins, there is quite a bit of rejoicing. There are 3 who will be arriving. I believe it's just a couple of days now, 3 days or so. If you look out into the wastes, you might be able to see the horizon-back turtle they are arriving on in the distance. They move a bit slow. But the Sky Sibyl, Abriana Miram, is leading the group here. There is also Razantar Alaria of Den Alaria, and Adindar Vasun of Den Vasun. They are here at the Sky Sibyl's request to take a tour around Osarius. They've been doing so around all of the dynasty's cities to see how the different races are treated compared to the Drow and Rosanna. Now that the war is over, there is more attention being kept to matters like that.
Are they trustworthy?
Umavi. There are none more trustworthy.
That's a dumb question.
They are perfect souls. If we cannot trust them, who can we trust?
Does he actually believe that, or is he just kind of spewing like a rhetoric?
Ooh, go ahead and roll an insight check.
18.
18, very nice. It's mostly rhetoric. There is certainly a belief in the power of. You can see that there's more admiration. 18 is pretty good. You can see there's more admiration when speaking about consecution and the artifacts, and speaking about that. There's a lot more admiration than necessarily for the Umavi themselves. It's not to say there's like hatred or anger or any kind of negativity that way. But the way he repeats it is very kind of mechanical and routine almost.
Yeah. Okay. So essentially, that he doesn't genuinely believe in his heart that they are all good type.
Yeah, not
like
when he
it's
says they're
just kind
perfect.
of a yeah.
It's kind of like,
okay.
well, they're all perfect. He does when he speaks of the Sky Sybil, he speaks a little. It's kind of a little more warmly than the other two.
Have you met any of them before?
Me personally, I wouldn't necessarily call it meeting, but I did have a moment with the Sky Sybil in a previous trip that I made to Gordronis to pay homage to the Bright Queen. The Sky Sybil often keeps counsel with the Queen, and I was offered a brief moment where she blessed me.
What comes with when you say a blessing, do you mean like a actual spiritual blessing like one would receive from the divine, or more of a verbal blessing like a knighthood?
More of a verbal blessing, just for good fortune from the Luxon. Guidance that I may step in the ways that the light would like me to. I did not gain any, powers or abilities from it. It was empowering in itself, but nothing tangible.
I see.
Go ahead.
She's sort of not super loud. It's just, I guess I'm just trying to understand this Luxon. It's a new faith that I'm not wholly familiar with, so I'm trying to understand what the blessings of the Luxon actually bring someone.
Choice. Potential. Guidance. The Luxon grants many things, even in its absence. But if you would like to learn more, I'm not exactly a religious man myself, but the Temple of the Luxon here in Asarius is currently housing under heavy guard, of course, one of the Luxon beacons. They often travel so that ceremonies can be had for those who are ready to pass into the next life, and do so in range of a beacon. And will be here forever. They are kept safely in Rosohna for most of their life, but they do travel the dynasty. This one in particular will be leaving with the Umavi.
Do you think that the Sky Sybil or any of the Umavi would be taken aback or perhaps slighted by the presence of warriors of other faiths?
I don't believe so. There are not any. Well, although many here in the dynasty worship the Luxon, there are many other gods worshipped as well. There are not formal punishments for worshipping other gods, and only the ones that are more of the betrayer god variety are typically looked down upon. I do not think that she would look poorly upon that. In fact, the Sky Sibyl is one who is very open to meeting others. One of the only, in fact, right now, the only Umavi who is a goblin. Even though her advanced age in this life is far beyond what a goblin may normally live, it was odd. The reincarnation of a soul is not always a specific choice. But she made sure that in her journey to the next life, that it would be one that happened where it was most likely to be a goblin. She chose her current species so that she could learn the plight of those who are beneath the drow in the dynasty. And looking around here, we would also fit that category in most occasions. But there is progress still happening within the dynasty. And the Umavi, the Sky Sibyl herself, being one of the main proponents of that change.
You said she's obviously older than a goblin would be, but how old is this Sky Sibyl? Or this reincarnation?
I believe this incarnation of the Sky Sibyl is around 140 years old.
Oh, so like really much older than a goblin.
Much. Yes. Her great power allows her to extend her life beyond a normal range.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many lives she has lived in total?
I don't know exactly, but it is more than just a few. She nears 1,000 years old herself, if she has not already passed.
Her soul is 1,000 years old?
Yes. None are older than the Bright Queen herself, but the Sky Sibyl is not far off.
Does Winnie know how old the Bright Queen is? Is that knowledge, or?
I would think you could roll a history check, sure.
I was just wondering. What 18.
18 is pretty good. Let's see here.
What the range is for Umavi and Consecuted.
Right. She would be closer to about 1,200 years old.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's probably in the Wildmount Guide somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't follow it.
I might give a fact check on that and give you the right number. I believe it's about 1,200 years old.
Okay. Wow, that's a long time. I don't know. How can anyone stand it?
The weight of many lives can be heavy, but the Bright Queen wears them with grace. Now, is there anything else that I can offer you?
I'm all right. Got the gold. Got some info. Got rid of the big snake.
Yes.
Anyone else?
No.
We got our money? Shopping!
Some things to think about.
Always.
Are we outside?
Yes.
Or are we still inside? I turn to Winnie and Acacia and Jawan, and I go, this is about the same stuff that Jawan and I found out when we went south.
What do you mean?
Remember that day that I wanted to talk about the racers and who to trust and what we wanted to do with them? All the stuff that he said, basically the same thing we heard already from somebody else. You just didn't want to listen.
Listen to what?
To what I had to say.
Well, okay, I'm confused, and I'm sorry if I didn't hear what you said before. Tell me now.
I don't think the Umavi are the people that we need to be careful around. I think it's Denolios. Why would a den of the city be concerned about the guards seeing what their business is? They have just as much power. They have to be behind some of this. I don't trust them. I don't think we should trust them or the guards.
Dwen, you think Den Dwendalis? You're talking about Den Dwendalis or Denolius?
No, Denolios. I don't think we should trust Denolios. I think they're trying to set us up.
I don't think we do trust Denolios.
I don't really trust any of the dens, if we're just kind of putting that out there.
Yeah, I don't either. I think we're all on the same page. We don't trust them. I mean, we have to work with them a little bit, or it's worse, but I don't trust them.
But I also don't think we should make enemies of them. At least here. I mean,
yeah,
I'd eventually like to be able to leave this place, and preferably not with a target on my back.
It would be better if we could just stay off their radar. We're not really good at that, but if we could just stay off their radar as much as possible, I would like that.
I just feel like when we go meet with the Sky Sybil and the Umavi, that we are going to take the fall for everything that happened.
But everything that happened was successful. I don't think there's a fall. I don't know.
There's a giant hole in the middle of a neighborhood and a bunch of people are dead and displaced.
I mean,
we didn't make that.
We went to investigate. I mean, that's all there was. I mean,
yeah, there's all there was to us, but that's not how people in power think. They are going to try to get leverage out of this, either with us or with the Sky Sybil. And I don't want us to end up in
I mean, I think the Umavi should at least be able to discern if somebody's trying to be dishonest or deceitful. I mean, especially if we're able to pick up on the fact that Denolios is off. Somebody who's lived 100 lifetimes. I mean, if we run or we try to avoid it, I mean, I'm not saying let's meet with the Umavi around. Let's maybe try to get a one-on-one away from the den.
I think that's best because you're absolutely right, and that's what I was saying yesterday. The Umavi can discern lies. If they can tell whether or not Denolius are being deceitful, they can tell whether or not we're hiding something.
I mean,
And that's just going to be proof that we are the traitors.
We should be able to see their turtles, the horizon backs that they're on, by tomorrow. Maybe we get eyes on that. We start headed in that direction and meet them in the middle before they even make it. We can catch them before Danolios even has a chance to get there. Here.
Or are you proposing we cut and run?
No, not cut and
No.
run. I mean, we go to
No.
the Umavi. I mean, we
Is
walk.
Urea, are you proposing we cut and run?
No, I'm proposing we talk to the Umavi before Denolius gets to them. I think it's going to be our heads if Denolius gets to the Umavi before we do.
Well, I'll say we try to get ourselves a good night's sleep tonight. Like I said, we should be able to have eyes on the tortoises tomorrow. We head out towards them. Or hell, try to see if we could spot them tonight. Head out even earlier. Because who knows? Denolios might be sending a welcome brigade to get them, you know. They could have the same idea we do.
Mm-hmm.
Are there
What
any
time of the day is it like now?
So it would still be pretty early. It was a couple hours after breakfast. People did sleep in. So I would say probably about 1 in the afternoon or so at this point.
Okay.
Are there any high points in town necessarily? Someplace to kind of get a lookout from?
Oh, sure. I mean, the Aurora Hold would probably be the best place because the way Asarius is built up, it's kind of on a hill, on more like one side of a hill, with the walls of Vermalock purple built up around that, with tents a bit outside that as well for some of the creeks. But as you go up into the north roads and up towards the Aurora Hold, it goes up on that slope, kind of that top central portion being the Aurora Hold itself. That would probably be the best view in the city from there.
I mean, we can try to get eyes on it today. Go on a nature hike.
Would it be possible for... So I don't have to sleep. I just have to transfer 4 hours. Would it be possible for us, whoever wants to do it, to try to get rest earlier in the afternoon? Or not earlier in the afternoon, but earlier in the evening, to then go out for a night scouting mission situation?
I would say yes, it would probably be early morning situation because you can't just kind of rest in the middle of the day. But if you were to wait till, I'd say 6 or 7 would probably be fine. From there, you're looking at a 2 a.m. venture out.
Did it get cut off?
Oh, yeah, I did not hear any of that. If you said something, sorry.
Oh, yeah. I only need to sleep 4 hours.
Oh, yeah, then fine. Yeah, totally, absolutely. I would say, if you're trying to go out by 10, then yeah, you can do that just fine.
I don't know what we want to do about it. We could also try to head north and see if we can waylay them on their way down. Maybe we can meet them a couple hours outside of the city.
It's right about that time when everybody's talking, where you see again 2 of the Simurgs with riders on top of them flying up over the city. doing a route out from the central part of the mountain that Osiris is built up onto.
Well, why would the Umavi even believe us, even if we went to them first?
I mean, our our options are, from best case, are we try to talk to the Umavi before Denolius gets to them, which they might not even talk to us, but we at least try. We wait for them to get into the city, where they have an audience with Denolius, and we already know Denolius wants us there to speak to the Umavi about what happened. But what they're gonna say, who knows? They might not believe us. They might believe them. They might them. We
But do our account and Denolios's account differ?
Wendy, they can lie. They can make up that we blew up a part of the city. Like they don't have to stick to the story that we know is true.
But to what end? I mean, to what end? What would be their motivation, as opposed to saying, there's some sort of threat that needs to be dealt with?
Juwan just kind of taps his short swords on the bracers that Acacia's wearing.
Huh? Oh,
They could have been looking for these.
I'm
That could
sorry.
have been the point of the whole dig in the first place. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I
They could
startle
have
you,
sent those
Acacia?
people out there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just a little spaced out. No, I don't want to trust any of these dens. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't think that waiting for the Umavi to get here is the best idea. And as far as discerning lies from truth, I mean, that's magic that I'm capable of, and I haven't been in tune with the Everlight for long. So if it's something that, I mean, if it's a magic that I have access to, I can only imagine what any member of the Umavi would have to be able to discern truth from lie. And let's be honest, we have these bracers and said nothing to Den Olios because we don't trust them. That's not a lie. We have no reason to lie to the Umavi.
That's true. We don't have a reason to lie. I mean, even if we talk to the Umavi and they're able to smooth this all over, you know what I mean? It's all a misunderstanding kind of thing. We're new to town, not you, Winnie. I know you live here, but they seem to give you the willies. But the Umavi, I mean, they seem smart. I mean, like I said, even if they can settle our fears, I mean, it's worth it too. Just kind of putting things out there.
I don't think we have anything to hide from the Umavi. And even if our fears are actualized and Denolios isn't to be trusted and they want to try and pin something on us, I'm sure either the Umavi or, I mean, if I can do it, Yuria, I'm sure you could as well. You know, show proof through magic that we aren't lying. And, I mean, what? Are they going to try to say that we have some incredibly powerful magic item? It's not like, I mean, yeah, I know it's powerful, but we don't know what it is or what it does. So that we have no reason to lie to them.
I'm not saying that we're going to lie to them. I don't. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, this is what. If I was whatever his face name is, I honestly don't know, and I do not care. If I found out about powerful artifacts, I would pay some nice amount of money because I have it, and send some disposable people to take care of it. Oh, this happens to be very good. Oh no, the Sky Sybil is coming soon, and we've had this horrible thing happen in the Goblin neighborhood. I'm gonna try my best to fix it, even though I was the one that caused it in the first place.
And I think that the Umavi...
And I found these...
I think the Umavi would have the ability to discern that, but I don't think the idea of riding out to meet them is a bad one. If we can get to them before the den does, and even alert them of our fears and let them know this is what happened, this is the truth, and we wanted to assure you that we were going to leave town, but not out of fear that we had done something wrong, but because we don't trust Denolios.
I think talking to the Sky Sybil is the best course of action. I don't think we should wait for the...
Well, I mean, it's so early in the day. We can put some miles between us and the city.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go with you.
Did you say that you couldn't go with us, or they? That's like the den.
I cannot go with you to talk to the Umavi.
Well, why not?
I just can't.
Do they scare you?
They do. I'll wait here.
Winnie, we don't want to leave you behind.
No.
You're just as much a part of this truth as, realistically, I mean, Juwan, you know...
Really, y'all just dragged me into a hole.
And the professor came in at the last minute, so realistically, the three of us are the ones who have the deepest ties into the situation. And I think more truth, more people telling the same story is better than some.
Also, if we leave you behind, they'll take you.
The den could find out that we leave the city and put together that we're trying to meet with the Sky Sybil, and it leaves a target on you. And then we have to come and break you out of jail, and quite frankly, that's... I would do it.
But I think we're all trying to avoid going there.
Or worse, frankly. I'm trying jail I can do. Death, kind of hard to come back from.
Death isn't so bad. Sitting inside a box for years, years and years and years. That'll make you want death. Is it just a fear that's keeping you here, Winnie? I mean, it's not like you're actually like can't leave the city, right?
I can leave the city, and I fear I will have to, but I can't meet with the Umavi.
All
Or
right.
maybe I have to leave before they get here. I don't know. I don't know.
Winnie, I promise you, with everything, every ounce of life that I have in me, I won't let anything bad happen to you. Not from the Umavi, and certainly not from the Den. But I feel like this is a
That's a
path.
promise you can't possibly keep.
With the Everlight, anything is possible. And this is a path that I don't see us being able to avoid. And I think it's better that we face it all together.
The two Simurgs are flying overhead again. The group sees them. They look like they're flying a little closer to the ground now, definitely circling this area.
Are they keeping an eye on us?
I'd say you can roll, I'd say an insight check, but, give me, I would say insight or perception. Insight or perception. I'm going to choose on those.
Okay. So insight 18.
18. It's definitely the area. And based on the pattern that they flew before, certainly by your calculations, at least a good possibility.
I don't think this is a path that we can avoid. But you'll have us alongside you. Haven't let anything bad happen yet, right?
I can't go. I can't meet with the Umavi. And I can't explain it.
You can't or won't.
Both. I'll wait here. I'll meet you at another destination, but I can't meet with them.
Well, I mean, it's inevitable. If we're gonna go meet them, if you stay back, you'll end up meeting them anyway. Whether it's with us, without us, here in the city, out in the wilds, wherever you go, it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. I'm sorry. It's awful. I don't know what's keeping you from it. And I won't ask. However, just know it's coming.
The
Are they
Simurgs are
getting
about
closer?
250 feet above the ground. They are descending now quickly in the direction of the group.
we should probably decide where we're moving.
We should run.
Yeah.
Winnie runs. She runs away.
Winnie, hey. And Juwan starts to follow after her. He's got little legs though.
No, I'm gonna try to see if I can get them to come to me, give them a head start.
Okay.
I'll
I
go
would
with
sit-
Furia.
Okay. So then Winnie and Joanne run off and find a building to hide behind, I would assume. Let's have the two of you roll stealth checks. If you're doing it in such a way that's trying to hide. If you're just trying to go as quick as possible, then we don't have to do that.
Are we in the creeks?
I would say still probably closer to the pit side after leaving Dendwendalos and speaking outside that area, but not far off from the creeks.
All right. She's making a beeline for the creeks where she knows how to hide.
Very quickly. Okay. Got it.
6.
23.
Winnie's just flailing in the middle of the street.
Okay, so an average about 15.
Screaming. She's like running away and screaming.
Got it. All right. Acacia and Udia, though, with you trying to gain the attention, you see two wolf-headed simurgs with their large wingspan. You're guessing it must be 15, 20 feet. Huge black talons with kind of an ivory-looking tip at the end of them with very sharp points. They seem to have very ornate harnesses on them, and you can see now that there are riders, or rather that the riders on top of them are wearing very nice armor. You can tell that these are Aurora Watch of a high rank. And as the simmers kind of glide down, they open up their wingspan to stop the descent down and movement forward, and tuck their wings under and land. And you almost feel the ground move as they hit it. You can tell the massive form of these wolf bird hybrid creatures is imposing. And as they do, both of the simmers kind of give a bow down for their riders to get off. And you can see that the armor here is both ornate, but also like a chitinous armor. It looks like a shell or an exoskeleton of an insect. And you can see two drow getting off of the simurgs. Both of them have long white hair that extends out past the helmets that they wear, both with kind of points on each side, and one central one, almost looking like a bit of a crown or horns, maybe a mix of the two. But the helmet itself, combined with the armor, is a little bit intimidating, especially given the entrance on the simurgs. And they land probably about 60 feet away from Acacia and Udia. And as they get closer, you hear kind of a faint as they get closer. And you can see when they're about 10 feet away, or rather get the kind of spatial sound that coming from holes in their armor, meant to create noise, to be a bit more intimidating as they fight in their battles. They move up to the two of you, and you see a soft-looking expression. Nothing aggressive or angry. They see the two of you, and now that they are 5 to 10 feet away, the one out in front, a little bit taller, a little bit bigger build, has darker purple skin. The other one has a bit of a gray purple. The one out in front gives a small bow. Friends of Denolios, it is good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something we can do to help you?
Yes. Denolios has requested the presence of your group. There has been some developments with the lizard folk who are being interrogated. Lady Zethris herself, would like to speak with you.
Are you here to escort us back, or are we able to make our way there on our own time?
We've been asked to insist that you make it as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll come.
If you would like to make your own way, you are welcome to. However, the fastest route would be on the Simmers. We can each carry 2 riders. Are the other members of your party near?
They've gone off on another errand.
Huh. I see.
We
Well,
still got
given
to
the
make
time-
going.
Understood. Given that time is of the essence, I'm sure that the presence of the 2 of you would be satisfactory to Lady Zethris.
Mm.
Shall we depart?
Keisha glances
What?
to Yuri real
It's getting
quick.
cut off. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Acacia's looks to Yuria for like that, like, we going? Like, how do you want to do this?
Look intelligent. Do these Simmers look intelligent?
The Simmers? Oh, great question.
Mhm.
You can roll an insight check.
Oh, okay. That's 24.
24. They do seem much more intelligent than the average creature that you'd find in Asarius. They do seem to have a bit of training and attentiveness that is apparent already just in this short interaction that you've seen with them.
Hmm. Okay. I'll kind of go up to one of them and go, "Are we going?"
Ready when you are.
Guess Acacia's gonna get helped onto one of them and
Got it. And as you approach, the Simmergs bow down almost regally in their movement. And you get some help up from the 2 drow who were riding the Simmergs. And with the bow lifting up as you are sitting on these beasts, you can see that your view here, even just as it sits up, is about 15 feet probably up. And you feel the muscles of the Simmerg as the wings expand and start to take you above the city. And you see now out, even just in these short seconds, the view of rising from the streets and the ground level of Asarius up, seeing now the wastes of Jorhas outside, beyond, from the river down to the Sarosseep waters, even the mountain ranges on one side and the other, the Ashkeeper Peaks to the Penumbra Range. The flat lands of the wastes are evident up here. You see dark drab colors of the land. You see off in the distance, in the far south, the storm brewing. And you see, after looking at all the scenery around, down at Asarius, looking up from this distance, everything looks so small. Everything seems to be so insignificant as you ride up and do a small loop above the city before coming back around down to the front of the Aurora Hold. And rather than going to the front, the Simmers kind of move past it and then over behind to a what looks to be an area that is set up for these Simmers to land. And they do, and you hear the loud clacking of talons on this stone here in this area. The Simmers bow down to let you off. The drow get off first and help you down. And you stand in this kind of very, it looks more, I guess, less less flare than the front, than the stained glass windows of the Aurora Hold. This seems to be much more functional. And the drow who had addressed the two of you before says, "If you'll follow me, I'll take you to Lady Zethras." And leads the way. I will ask at this point, though, what is Winnie and Jawan doing? You said you're dipping out for the creeks. What's the plan from there?
I don't know. Did we hear what was going on?
I would say if you ran away that quick, no, not if
No,
you made
we
a
don't know.
beeline. Yeah, you probably would have seen them flying off in the distance with the two of them on the backs of the sim.
And that they got on voluntarily.
Correct.
No. Do we want to try to follow on land?
I mean,
Strong word.
if we're being perfectly honest, that flight kind of looked nice. Why did you run if we're just gonna go talk to the cops anyways?
Well, I didn't know I didn't know who it was. I thought they were coming for us.
I mean, it looks like they were.
Yeah, well, I panicked, okay?
Well, you panicked, I panicked. You panicked and ran, and I had to follow you. I guess now we're hoofing it up the hill.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. All right. And John sort of pulls his pants up a little bit.
Winnie, yeah, I should have said that in the beginning. Winnie panics.
And
That's my next story time
Yeah,
share.
there you go.
Winnie panics.
sort of
Panic attacks.
reaches down and picks up like a pinch of dirt and sort of like sprinkles it around his shoes and sort of like whispers an incantation, and he's like, "All right, now I should be able to keep up with you and your long legs." And I cast Long Strider on myself.
Well, I only have 30 feet of movement, so.
Now I have 35. Haha.
Oh, good job. Keep you now. So yeah, so I mean, I'm Winnie is still not thrilled with any interaction with any of the dens, although is better actually with Denolius than she is with the Umavi, but yeah, not thrilled about any of it, but doesn't want to leave her friends, on their own. So we'll trail.
Got it. So a trail through the city, getting to the Aurora Hold to follow Udia and Acacia. And back to those two, as you are led through these what becomes increasingly ornate hallways. They move from just kind of more smooth stone to seeing more marble pillars. And in one room that you start to pass by where the door is open, it almost looks like a smoky quartz with silver veins running through it in the columns that are in the room. But you move through, and as you do, you hear the of the armor. Even walking through these halls, as it echoes off the walls, it creates almost this echoing reflection that makes it sound like you are being escorted by a group of 6, 7, 8 of these Kryn guards rather than just this one. But as you move through, he turns into a large room. Doors are already open, large wooden double doors are already open, with a long carpet down the center of it, red offsetting the pale gray walls and large marble pillars of this room. And it's a bit of a walk down this large room, but at the end of it is a kind of set of 3 doors. And takes you off to the left, opening it up into what looks to be almost like a waiting room. And there's a couple of seats and benches in there. But rather than leave you in here, he pushes forward to the door that it leads to. And this door is made of purple vermalock wood with the same spider that was on the coin. I'm sorry, not spider, the same bat that was on the coin that was given to you by Verlas to get food and lodging of the wise spider is on this door. And he stops before and gives it a knock. And you hear a soft voice from the other side. Come in. And he pushes the door open. gestures to the two of you. Lady Zethris awaits.
All right.
As the two of you walk in, you see sitting on a kind of a pale red couch. Looks very soft and comfortable. Wearing a kind of a white, almost like glittering, sparkly. It doesn't look like it's glitter. It looks like this odd bit of inlaid thread that is just sparkling with this shawl wrapped over the shoulders. And as you enter the room, she stands up wearing purple robes that look a bit similar to Verlas and what he was wearing the first time that you had seen him. But somehow both more formal and more casual at the same time. She does have very, on one side, almost like a shoulder pad, but it flows with the shawl and kind of clips it down. And then there are silver, what looks like almost like long ornate necklaces, just thin strands, not very large or gaudy or anything. But you can see even as she stands up, she moves with grace and intentionality that speaks to both her perceived influence and power to those that might speak with her. And she looks at the two of you. And I'll ask at this point, what was Acacia doing with the bracelets that were on?
She has them up underneath her cloak.
Underneath the cloak. Okay, got it. Why don't you give me a sleight of hand check for... I'll give you sleight of hand or stealth, whichever you prefer, but just representing how well that hiding of those bracers goes here.
Can I guide myself?
Can I hold her? I was gonna be like, can I hold her hand?
I mean,
Give her down?
yeah, so here's the thing with guidance. She'll see you casting a spell, unless you're doing it very sneakily, which, you can certainly try if you wanted to do it sneakily.
No.
Could we have done this in the hallway?
To try and do guidance. Oh, guidance only lasts for a minute, though. So I would say it'd probably be a little tough.
No, I'm saying like her slide of hand to the bracers underneath her cloak, because that had been done in the hallway.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I see what you mean. I thought you meant the guidance. I was like, I don't know. But no, yes, exactly. It's not that you walked in here with the bracers up and out and then tucked it in.
No, pretty much as soon as it was like, I mean, she doesn't like just walk around with them up in the air or anything like that. She is pretty careful about how visual they are.
Okay.
All right, Everlight, guide me. That's an 8.
Okay,
Oh no, okay, so help him with a natural 1, please.
I cast Fireball.
Wait a second.
That's not a cleric spell.
It is if you're light domain, but I am not, nor am I high enough level to actually cast it.
As the two of you enter in the room and see her, she gets a smile on her face, a very warm smile, very welcoming smile, very practiced smile. Welcome. Please, friends, tell me your name.
I am Acacia from Temple of Renewal.
Uria of the Water Ashari.
You both come from very far off lands to grace us with your presence here in Asarius. What has brought you here?
Pilgrimage.
The moon.
I see. And what do you think of our fine city here? The city of beasts, as they call it.
I think
Very pretty.
the city is quite beautiful in some parts, ignored in others.
An interesting assessment. Now, I suppose it's on to a bit of business. I hear that you have been found in Denolios' favor.
Well, we've
Maybe.
done what we can to try and help.
I ask now, is there anything that I, as the watcher of the city, what can I do for you in return for the things you've done for us?
Can I get an insight check on her?
Sure, yeah, go ahead and roll an insight check.
Mm-hmm. No, does this bitch.
Might have cut out if you gave the result already. Didn't catch it.
Oh.
I can hear now, though. Oh, 23, very good. So what you get the sense of is that these are niceties. And these are niceties that are very calculated to try and assess the two of you. Okay. Can you hear better now? Was it still choppy for you?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So, what the sense that you get is that these are kind of niceties. This is just small talk, but this is very calculated small talk to assess the two of you.
There's nothing at this time that we would request of the den. We've been doing our best to help the people of the Cretes, and it's not really anything that we need at this time. But we were informed that there was some form of update from the lizards.
Yes. I was a bit disappointed in Verlas. Then I had to go seek him out for the knowledge of why I had 2 dead lizard folk, an interrogation specialist that was driven mad by the experience.
Hmm.
That doesn't seem effective.
Pleasant.
I'm sorry, make no mistake. We did not kill the lizard folk. Something that should not have been able to reached into their minds while the interrogation specialist's mind was connected to theirs. The 2 lizard folk were killed. And the specialist is now a rambling, incoherent mess. Speaking about the light consuming all.
Do I believe her?
I would say with that, keeping with that insight check you had rolled already, yeah. She seems to be straight up about it. I must ask that you explain your expedition into the hole in the Cretes neighborhood. I'd like to hear it from the 2 of you yourselves rather than secondhand from Verlas. My trust in him is a bit low right now.
Well, we went down into the hole. There were some rather interesting old murals on the walls, and we heard what sounded like ritual chanting. When we investigated further, we found a group of them with a few captives from the Cretes, and we dispatched them and saved the individuals that were down in the hole. And honestly, if you were to ask any of the 3 of them, they would tell you the same.
And did you ask the 3 of them what they saw? What their experience was?
They said they didn't have much. They
You
They
didn't want to,
remember being
didn't-
kidnapped And the next thing they remember was us bringing them back to consciousness.
But most of the time that they were down there, they were bleeding to death.
And what was the sense that you got of that place? Not what you saw, or not the specific details. What was the sense that you got from that place? What did you believe
Old.
that you found?
It seemed to maybe be
Old.
an
Very
old,
old.
I don't know, maybe a very old temple of sorts. I mean, the murals on the walls seem to depict a time pre-calamity, maybe, but nothing that really registered with any of my historical or religious knowledge.
There were
Old.
portals depicted. Portals that I'm somewhat familiar with. Also,
Were these things
weird
alarming to you?
I mean, I didn't really understand them, so I guess if it were alarming, it was more that something like that was buried. I guess the alarm would more so be from why it was buried so deep, what buried it. Was it nature or the gods?
An interesting question that deserves to be answered. Tell me, what do you feel of Verlas? What are your thoughts on Denolios?
Those are two separate questions, I hope.
What are your thoughts on Verlas?
My nephew has... My nephew has a long way to go before he is able to deal with some of the duties that come along with administering a city.
Well, I guess in the sake of honesty, Verles is an ass.
I don't
And
trust him as far as I can throw him, and he's a very slight man.
and as someone who up to this point has been, for at least for us, the representative of your house, your den, maybe that shouldn't be the case. Because it's very difficult for us to... Because if I were to tell you in this moment my impressions of Denolios, they wouldn't be very high, with him being the only face that we've truly encountered to this point.
I'll have to speak with him about that. It is one thing to misrepresent yourself, but to misrepresent your den, it is a bit more troubling.
I will say, I don't trust governments and authority very much. Where I come from, it's not a thing that we have. And meeting Verlas, whose name I remembered because you said it 5 seconds ago, confirmed every suspicion I ever had.
Would it surprise you to hear that I feel the same way?
No.
No.
If anything, you've given us a little more sense of trust in the den.
You also seem intelligent and connected to reality.
I guess in responding to your earlier question about what we would need of the den, much in the same way that we look to be able to trust Denolios, we would hope that your house would look to trust us as well.
Why don't the Give me a persuasion check on that.
Don't fuck me, Gil. 13.
13. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Well, trust does need to be built. Something that money cannot buy.
Of course.
However, I find that knowledge is the currency where trust is built. Trust is bought. Knowledge, in this case, I may be able to offer. And perhaps we may be able to work towards a common goal in this situation.
Hoping we have
listening.
something for equal trade. Like I said, we don't know much about what was down there, and we honestly nothing more than, at this point, mercenaries, really.
Well then, perhaps a bit of knowledge first, and then a bit of paperwork. First, despite the death of the lizard folk who were in captivity, there was a bit of knowledge gained. What our interrogator was able to see in their minds was the image of a large host gathered somewhere in Jorhaus. It included lizard folk, but also Yuan Ti, some kobolds, and even goblins. There were also large reptilian beasts that were not familiar to us, which is a bit surprising given the city that we live in. We've reached out to the Marble Tomes Conservatory in Osana to see if they have anything in their archives. Beyond that, you're traveling down the Crete's neighborhood beneath the ground. Is not necessarily unprecedented. About 5 years ago, a group not unlike yourselves was tasked with fixing a problem for Denolios. This task led them into a well and a small tunnel system that stemmed from it. After they were done, we sent in a group to check out the situation and make sure they did not sabotage the well or the cave system. While they were down there, the team discovered a small shaft that led down into what only can be described as a very long drop. When they navigated down the drop, what they found was a complex underground structure. In 5 years of excavation since then, although it has been very slow progress. At first quick, but upon finding the first actual rooms beyond the entrance, much care was taken. I've been updated on the finds and on the progress of this group. And if it suits you, I would like you to travel down there to meet with them on behalf of Denolios. To see some of this complex and confirm if it is related to what you found. And to pass any knowledge that you have to their team. And hopefully, a collaboration that can lead to both of us finding knowledge that we seek.
On what knowledge are you seeking?
Does your nephew know of this second check? Sorry.
Verlas does not know of this secondary location. Had he known, I'm sure he would have alerted me much sooner to this problem. Part of my annoyance. But that is also the nature of need to know information. The knowledge that I seek is what Osiris is on top of. What is the history beneath our feet? And what things can be found there? Things that may be important to the dynasty. What knowledge do you seek?
If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm here on a pilgrimage for the Everlight. My goal is more in understanding charity and selflessness. I don't know how much, and please don't take any offense by this because I mean none. I don't know how much us digging deeper into this, whatever this place is that Asarius is built on top of, furthers that pilgrimage for myself. I've found better knowledge seeking in assisting those in the Cretes, and assisting other people in this city who have less.
My personal goals lie elsewhere. I was sent away by the Heart of the Tides for reasons that have yet to become clear to me. But I am very interested in knowing what Asari is built on, especially if the depictions of the gates continue to pop up on these structures. We are, at the end of the day, the protectors of these gates. And this is very concerning.
Well, it seems there are some split opinions. I know that there are others that travel with you.
That's correct.
Perhaps it's best to speak with them and come to a consensus.
We shall do that when we meet with them later.
Then I shall send you with someone who can help. A bit of help that Verlas did not offer. You can consider her an apology and a bit of security. Should you choose to go down into the secondary complex, she can accompany you and guide you down and offer some assistance and any complications that might arise. She kind of raises her hand for a moment and does a small sigil in the air. You see her speak under her breath. And just a few moments after that, a drow steps through. She's got almost like a more blue than purple tint to her skin. Brown, kind of brown, reddish eyes. With longer down past the shoulders, it's a red hair, but it is more of a pale red hair that stands as a contrast to Acacia's fire red here in this room. Pointed ears, rather large, very soft features, but also walks with a kind of athletic skill that betrays the proficiency with the weapons that she has at her side. A simple sword. And wearing simple brown leather armor. Looks like it's studded leather armor. She walks in. And Lady Zephyr says, "This is Cathona Thalis. She also often works on behalf of Denolios as a hired private hand. And as she steps into the room, now that she's in here, you also see that on top of the head, there is two small horns. They're white horns that are small, tucked closely to the hair, but moving out to a point just behind the head. And she looks at the two of you. It is a pleasure to meet you. I have heard many positive things about what you are doing here in the city.
We appreciate it. Is there a way for us to contact you in the event that we decide to venture into this secondary location.
I'd be happy to travel with you now. I can offer guidance around the city as well as a very generous discretionary fund on behalf of Denolius, should you need any accommodations.
I think it's probably best that we discuss this arrangement with the rest of our group first.
Well then, perhaps a plan to meet back here in the evening to discuss the continuation of this arrangement.
I think that would be best.
And Lady Zethris begins again. Well, it's been a pleasure to meet you both, as it has been for Cathona. I eagerly await your response.
What of the meeting?
With you, Mavi?
Mhm.
Verlas mentioned. Do you feel it wise?
Just wanted to know if that was still happening and if it was under Verla's purview.
I think you can assume that Verlas may step aside from the situation. It has been escalated to my care and will be given the utmost of attention from Denolius. Along with that, I offer my apologies for his jackassery and how he has treated all of you.
Apologies accepted. As I said, we will
I like
discuss
you.
this matter. We shall discuss this matter with the rest of our troop. And someone will be in touch this evening.
I look forward to it. Well, light be with you.
May the ever light be with you.
Lady?
She gives a bow.
I'm gonna stop the train of celestial blessings right there. It's not happening for me too.
Right. Now, are the two of you just heading out to the front of the Aurora Hold here?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're getting the hell out of that building.
In like a
As you,
brisk, but like I don't know.
kind of
See
a like
here.
a power walk, but a non-obvious power walk.
Mm-hmm.
As the two of you pass through the beautiful stained glass colored entrance area and out the doors of the Aurora Hold, just in time to see Winnie and Joanne catching up and able to meet with you here in the front. Plenty to discuss over what has just happened with the meeting with Lady Zethris. I think that's where we're going to end the session for the evening. So thank you to everyone has tuned in or is watching the VOD afterwards. If you would like to join Sanctums and Spies and this still unnamed party, then you can check out the link down below for startplaying.games. We have 2 slots open left. So if you want to get in on this craziness, check it out. It's a great time. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.